Won't be the last ones dancing when the lights go out. When there's no one to hold you, I will still hold you. Won't be the last ones dancing in the faceless crowd. When there's no one to hold you, I will still hold you. I will still hold you. Don't talk, but you speak so loudly. You smile, but your eyes look cloudy. You say someone left you broken. I'm here with the door wide open. No matter what, I'm yours. Closing the highs and the lows for sure. You go to work, I go to work. Be yours. We'll be the last ones dancing when the lights go out. When there's no one to hold you, I will still hold you down. We'll be the last ones dancing in the faceless crowd. When there's no one to hold you, I will still hold you down. I will still hold you down. I'll hold you down. Find me when the party's over. Ride home, put your head on my shoulder. Last night's in the rearview mirror. Wake up and I'm still right here. No matter what, I'm yours. Those are the highs and the lows for sure. You gotta walk, I gotta walk. Be yours. We'll be the last ones dancing when the lights go out. When there's no one to hold you, I will still hold you down. We'll be the last ones dancing in the faceless crowd. When there's no one to hold you, I will still hold you down. I will still hold you down. I'll hold you down.
This one also came up.
What that took me, I'm surprised. Say what you wanna say, I won't go back. If you wanna hit the road, then let's go then. Let's just go and see the world and just show them what it really means to live like golden. Yeah, we'll golden, baby girl, we'll golden. Yeah, about to see it shine, cause we're golden. They can't ever break us down, cause we're golden. Yeah, about to see us glow, cause we're golden. Yeah, we're golden, baby girl, we're golden. Yeah, about to see it shine, cause we're golden.
This is an ad by BetterHelp.
Rude.
We all have...
I said rude. Skip. Let's pack a fresh bowl, shall we? Interesting.
Apartment, do you recognize me when the daylight bursts? Just letting me slide on your carpet. Could I still be cool when your text won't send? When I'm jaded, wasted, but on the end, I'll be cool. Nothing to lose, but I still care for you.
Yeah, okay, he's gotten her a lot, but she can tell he doesn't get it. Tries to kiss, but she just wants him to be present. Accepting it, but she just trying to keep the peace. But she disrespects herself the more she lets him be believe the standards. She's looking for answers. Different love languages, he don't understand her. Emotional negligence, he lives in his residence. She don't want to be maintained, she wants to be connected with. Hard to take it day by day, cause really she's been hurt for months. Knows his life's a blur, but wants to focus just on her for once. He makes her feel like she's not interested, she's talking, he's not there. Now she's missing him and how he used to be back when he came. She knows exactly how she wanna feel. She knows exactly that this ain't that. She feels like a ghost and you wanna feel real. She looking at it and you wanna look back.
Do you recognize me through your half-cut eyes? When you're just a stranger in your apartment. Do you recognize me when the daylight bursts? Just letting me slide on your carpet. Could I still be cool when your text won't send? When I'm jaded, wasted, but on the end, I'll be cool. Nothing to lose, but I still care for you.
He got his knees too, he needs to feel seen too. If he don't get gas, look, he starts losing steam too. Physically rejected every day, he feels unwanted. He don't even try no more, it adds up, he's exhausted. From lovers to roommates, starting to lose faith. Wondering if he should leave, he already lives out a suitcase. Physical negligence, he lives in his residence. He don't want to thank you, Cardi, he just wants her to have sex with him. Hard to take it day by day, cause really it's been this for months. Knows it's hard for her, but wants her to approach him just for once. She makes him feel like he's not worthy of affection in hers. Now he's contemplating leaving, but he never leaves. He knows exactly how he wants to feel. He knows exactly that this ain't that. It feels like a ghost to her, you wanna feel real. But he's looking at her and she won't look back. Oh, do you recognize me? We can't keep playing chicken with each other's knees. Halfway between fear and minds, we're about me. I don't know what it's gonna take for us to see. We're mirrors to each other's blind spots. Yeah, we might be patient, but time's not. It's only no risk when you know, as long as we know what we gotta do.
We'll see what's next. I hear Nirvana by Sam Smith. Candy Paint.
Yeah. Hey. Candy paint with the white on top. Lambo doors on the woo-up drop. If you
I always loved Lamborghinis growing up. That was probably my favorite car. It says the mechanic's daughter. Somebody thinks that's funny. I'm being serious. Hurt. I know that's why it's funny. Well, try this. Somebody said, did you really grow up in an auto shop? A lot of the time. Not always. Sometimes it was a restaurant. Sometimes I was left alone. A lot of times I was left alone. Sometimes it was in a garage. I hated it there, really. But somebody said, why? Cold and boring. Also riddled with abuse.
I will send you to your knees praying.
Been to quite a few car shows though.
With my name, one of your tongue, I will take you right to the forbidden.
Somebody said, why? Well, why boring? In a place like that where there's so much room for learning and exploring? Well, when the person running the shop is also responsible for abuse and neglect, it creates a much different environment, doesn't it? Right. So no further explanation needed. Right. Say less.
So good it must be sin.
Cheers. You asked. I have answers.
Baby, I can lock the door. You hold the keys, yeah. I'll write the song. You're the symphony waiting on. Who's in
Somebody said, so you don't dislike cars? No, just the abusive environment.
control? No mercy. Show me how you love, baby. Gasoline in my veins, touch me. You're the judge generation. Love me with no mercy. No mercy.
Sounds like he just said Valentino. Something about right on the floor. Is he talking about a Valentino dress? I don't know. I heard Valentino and then I heard right on the floor. I don't know what he's talking about, but it easily sounds like he could be talking about Valentino's a brand, like usually a woman's clothing, I think a designer brand. And so if she was wearing a Valentino dress, I can see him talking about taking it off, kind of like Thomas Rhett t-shirt. You can wear my t-shirt right there, your hair. I just want to see your dress on my floor the way you wore my t-shirt, right? Sounds kind of like that. I think he also has a song about Louboutins as well, or like high heels or something. I'm interested. Now I'm curious. Let's see.
Kissing your skin, it feels like heaven. Far from the sun. You're like your necklace, the shape of my hand. You clasp me in. Baby, I can lock the
You like your necklace in the shape of my hand. He's talking about having his hand around her throat. Yep, there it is. He says, you look stunning in that Valentino. One zip and the sleeves go right on the floor. That's exactly what he was talking about. I see a little black dress. He was talking about taking her Valentino dress off and putting it on the floor so she's naked in his bed. I thought I heard that. I heard Valentino. I'm like, oh.
all just the same. Always make these mistakes. Ooh, yeah.
Let's do... Somebody's very angry, and I don't particularly care. Let's do this one. This is fun. Whoops. Quit. I think those are coyotes that I hear outside. I'm also hearing clairaudiently that some people are realizing that they picked the wrong target. Whoops. Not my whoops. You're bad. I did warn you in advance. Don't say I didn't. Don't bark up my tree, I bite back, I said.
It's all about confidence, baby. She was a confident lady. And I know she's traveling crazy. Never always, I know she's traveling crazy. When I should've said this and I should've said that. Oh, no, now it's all about confidence, baby. She was a confident lady. She's a confident lady. Never always, I know she's confident like she knows, like she knows. She's making me nervous, she's making me nervous. Like she knows, like she knows. It's all about confidence, baby. She was a confident lady. And I know she's driving crazy. Never
How's everybody? Said you were working? I know I've got some different time zones in here, probably more than likely. What have you been up to today? What adventures have you gotten yourselves into? Can you imagine being so miserable with your life that you find harassing comment sections your most productive thing to do? I don't know about you, it's 10:10 on the clock here on the East Coast tonight. I certainly will not be going to the gym tonight. And do I look like I need to go to the gym? I don't think so, bitch. No, I do work out and I do take care of myself and I do eat well. Like I said, it's 10:10 p.m. here. In fact, the last two things I have on my list are to make some green juice, and I might actually do that on screen. Make a starter batch of sourdough, which I think I'll do tomorrow. And I'm about to make a carrot salad, so first of all, rude. Second of all, out of place. Third of all, where would that come from? That was really random. Not applicable to me. So, are you insecure? I was just singing a song about my confidence. She's a confident lady. What do you mean? Go to the gym, or what was it you said? Go to the church. Are you feeling insecure about yourself? Are you feeling like a fat head, a fat bitch? Because you sound like a fucking fat head. All that forehead, but no brain in there. Just really weird, baseless, empty statements that aren't relevant to this topic of conversation or me. What's up? Projection. Probably hate me. Oh, you jealous? Big mad. In fact, I've been picking up some spell work. I wasn't even going to pull on this, but today I'm picking up spell work. When is that new moon? There's a new moon and another eclipse coming right up. The 21st, it's in a couple days, that's why. You've got the witchcraft people trying to play with spell work already. But you know what I heard in the shower a little while ago? This is all applicable. Somebody says, oh no, here we go with the spell work. Yep, and it's an eclipse, just like the full moon was the last one. So there have been 2 eclipses this cycle, meaning it's extra power that they think that they're trying to pull on or use. Or
If you've been walking the same old road.
This is called Chain Breaker by Zach Williams. I kept hearing it in the shower. What was the other one I was hearing? Tears of Gold.
You've been hearing the same old voice at the same old lies. If you're trying to fill the same old holes inside, there's a better life. There's a better life. If you got pain, he's a pain taker. If you feel lost, he's a way maker. If you need freedom, save it. He's a prison shaking savior. If you got chains, he's a chain breaker. We've also
So it sounds like you need Jesus and a gym, babe. Projector. Not me.
we've all found ourselves worn out from the same
Do you know who I was just talking to in the shower when this song came through in response? I was praying to God for myself, for highest growth, for movement forward, for clarity, for anything that needs to be addressed and checked within myself and my own life to be brought forth. So don't think that I have a problem putting other people in check. Heard, Russ? Yeah, well.
If you need freedom, save it. He's a prison shaking savior. If you got
There it is.
Go to website.
Okay then. Yeah, somebody says, why did they do that? Why are they like this? Because they're impulsive and compulsive, I would say. So desperate and jealous.
I need a crazy bitch that's down for me. I need to make up something wild and free. Need the right amount of attitude. She checks herself, but she checks me too. I need her to reciprocate all my love. Get drunk with it even though she loves blind. Baby, bring that action out for me.
down for you. I promise I'll be down for you. Even when I'm not around, somewhere out of town.
Divine Masculine's like, you're so hot. She's so hot. And see, this is why. You know, either hating, but also a lot of them trying to copy the same things that they've been hating on or trying to hate. It's jealousy, but it came out of inspiration. Well, we're not in Uruguay, so. Speaking of, also, the one time a client tried to come through from Uruguay, they couldn't get their, I guess Uruguay didn't have PayPal crossover, so they struggled to get a payment over to me, and I just gave it to them for free. Don't be rude to me. Isis, goddess of magic. I heard. They couldn't pay you, so you just helped them for free? Yes. Isis, which, by the way, is the Egyptian crossover of Freya, which, by the way, is the Norse crossover of Aphrodite. It's just the same. That's why they all resonate with goddess of love and beauty, as well as motherhood and war when necessary. Isis, creativity. So they've been targeting the mother and the wife. Right? Copycat, sensuality. They hate because they're jealous, but then they copy because really it's inspiration. They wish they could be us or be with us. And I've been picking up this download too. Though I know I'm not the only one who will resonate with this, but I was picking this one up in particular also for me. And the people who chose to try to target me, thank you. Picking up a few downloads, actually. I will be quiet about that one, though. Thanks. Yeah, see, they're like, oh, fake sad, heartbroken. But it's over here in the empty spot in the chest cavity. The heart's over here. The heart chakra's in the center. Like, there's nothing over here. You're not even good at pretending you're emotional. Yep, see, there it is. Ah, fuck! Karmic says they're mad now. See, they were just trying to pretend to be heartbroken and play the victim. Darvo tactic. Narcissistic Darvo. Deny, attack, reverse the victim and offender roles. Now they're mad because they're caught and it didn't work. Oh, their power of 3 will set us free. No, dude. No, it won't. They were trying to do that earlier too. But the people who were targeting me, chose to target me, it was out of jealousy for sure. However, those who know the story of Winona Ryder will have a little bit of a better comprehension of this. Let me give you the breakdown for those who don't. Winona Ryder was the actress, the young girl in the original Beetlejuice movies. Right? And she was bullied before she became famous. She was really bullied in school. And she was also targeted by a group of people. They jumped her in the hallway. They ganged up on her together. And when the principal came, she's the one who got in trouble instead of the bullies, even though they ganged up on her to beat her up. She's the one who got in trouble. Kicked out of school for what they did to her. So years later, she was in a coffee shop or cafe or something like that. And one of the bullies from school many years before came up to her because she was famous at that point. And they said, "Oh, Winona, can I get your autograph?" And she said, do you remember that kid that you beat up in the hallway in 7th grade? And the bully who beat her up said, kind of, not really. Meaning the bully didn't even realize that the person she was asking an autograph from, was the same person that she had beaten up in 7th grade. She didn't realize that the kid she beat up in 7th grade was the same one who got famous that she was asking for an autograph from many years later. Can I have an autograph? Do you remember that kid you beat up in 7th grade? Kind of. Yeah, well, that was me. She said, you can go fuck yourself. I'm the kid you beat up in 7th grade, so no, go fuck yourself. You cannot have an autograph. The reason that these people are mad at me is because I've already established and made it well loud and clear that they're not to come to me later and ask for an autograph. I wouldn't give them an autograph now. I wouldn't spit on them if they were on fire to put them out at this point. And because they know that, because they know that there is no chance in hell, not in this dimension or any other, that I would ever give them a chance to come to me for anything, let alone a favor. They're already pre-existingly mad and they're trying to bully me in advance for it. Well, fine. There's never a chance where you would let us chase clout off of your name or fame or give us an autograph. Well, fine. We'll just keep bullying you the way we always have then. Yeah, fuck you. That's why you can't come with me. Toodles.
I'm a savage down for you. I need a crazy bitch that's down for me, but not the type of crazy that don't let me breathe. Baby, fall back, I'm executing God's rule. That's just in my blood, that's just how a God moves. Hope you understand, you catch my...
To hope you understand, Divine Masculine's like, well, when you explain it like that, yeah, it makes a whole lot of accurate sense, does it not? It's because it was a clear observation. It was a download that I got. In fact, I have been getting it for a few days and I kept dismissing it, but it just was so loud in the shower I couldn't do it anymore.
You know you're bad as fuck, not too vain. I need someone who really loves me for me. I need a crazy bitch that's down for me, cause baby I'll be down for you.
Okay. In Divine Guidance, that's funny. Harmony. Courage. Did I not just talk or sing about that, right? What was it? Confidence. She's a confident lady. 1022, 1023. Courage, confidence. They were trying to disturb the peace and the harmony. Okay. Anybody connecting with the divine, they also wanted to keep people from connecting to the divine or trusting that divine guidance. Glamour, they wanted to hide who they were and cloak who they were. Claim that they were coming from a place of intellect and wisdom, but they wanted to really gaslight and block the intellect or the intuition of other people. They were arguing irrelevant points anyway. They're just dumb. Harvest, because it was an attempt to energy harvest. Yeah, see, from a truly confident person. Told you. Because you got no confidence like me. And you belong to those streets. Abundance and victory. Yeah, see? Everything that they tried to do backfired. Those who they were targeting still get the victory. I see the victory wreath. I'm like the 6 of Wands. I see the victory. It's like the cup, success. It's going to be unions coming through too for divine counterparts on levels. But the abundance is about, well, it could be about money. It doesn't have to be about money. You can have an abundance of love. Fertility's here. It's just about growth. This could be about connecting with a divine counterpart, though I have been picking that up. And then also, look, see, romance is behind authenticity, exactly. Health also, right? I just heard health is wealth. Possibly coming together to have babies, like make babies, have families, create families. I've been picking that up again too. So, and then also some of the people trying to target are active, like satanic worshipers and people who got into the dark side of things. I just heard the dark arts, and they shouldn't have done that. Lost their last marble a long time ago, or they have been currently losing it. The song is called The Devil is a Lie. The devil is a liar, but the devil's also a lie. You fell for that one, didn't you, gullible? You only wanna run around and chase me. Why do you do that? Chase me. Too hard, can you fucking pay me? I work too hard. If you don't pay me, mind your business. CEO. You did it with me, and not alone. Since 2019, you did this with me. I'm set in stone. Come from the same big place again. We know the struggle, baby. Can we be friends? From the bottom to the top again. We go on again. But you got no confidence like me. I know where this song is coming from and why. Because I got another download. Oh, you know what? I'm being told to be quiet about that. They'll figure it out the hard way sooner than later. Chase me. Never chase, baby, never chase me. Work too hard to get me, but you got no confidence like me. Really wanna run around and chase me. Never chase, baby, never chase me. Work too hard, can you fucking pay me? Right now, 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 right Why are you swearing at me in Spanish? Why do you sound so angry? Thank you. Ew. I'll show you something. How about that? Rude. I'm going to leave your comment right there just for that. You earned it, twat waffle. Twat waffle. Yeah, extra emphasis on that one.
I'm empty in a tank until I can't. Every time I hit a roadblock, I turn it into a ramp. I be fucking up my plans till I learn my plans would've fucked me up. That's the only time somebody shut me up. Bitch, I'm empty in a tank until I can't. Every time I hit a roadblock, I turn it into a ramp. I be fucking up my plans till I learn my plans would've fucked me up. That's the only time somebody shut me up. I be in my head, chasing my own tail. Gotta step into the light, bitch. My face is getting pale. All this bread up on my plate, but my soul is getting stale.
They're so mad.
Probably could've gone to yell. I've been biting on my nails. I'm just getting hammered, please shut the fuck up. I've been working on my manners, might have ended up like Chandler if it wasn't for my friends. I'm a multi-millionaire, but I still want the 2 cents. Reinvest into my headspace. My inner critic gives me hellboy. Sometimes I get a red face. I'm walking around like Hellboy. Someone called a bellboy. I'm struggling with baggage. Holding on to what I want so tight, I got a callus. Having faith has been a challenge. Only one I trust is me. Teffy told me hit up hell of what we did to beat. Heaven is a club, but I'm with anger, pride, and lust. Do you think God can still put Russ up on the list with a +3? Bitch, I'm empty in a tank until I can't. Every time I hit a roadblock, I turn it into a ramp. I be fucking up my plans till I learn my plans would've fucked me up. That's the only time somebody shut me up. Bitch, I'm empty in a tank until I can't. Every time I hit a roadblock, I turn it into a ramp. I be fucking up my plans till I learn my plans would've fucked me up. That's the only time somebody shut me up. Circling the drain while people see me running victory laps. College rapper, but I still end up in history class. Cause I'm a legend, we all die, but we don't live life. Wallet looking pregnant, my accountant need a midwife. Driving in a drop to the shows I wanna see fast. Knew I was a future, you would think they yelling free bands. Picking out my scars, I'll count my money with my free hand. That's a slippery slope and I forgot to pack my ski pants. I'm in southern Italy.
I did just pick something up about families. He said something about pregnant. I think he was talking about his bank account, wallet looking pregnant, bank account, that kind of a thing. But no, I'm picking up. This is Divine Masculine. He's laughing. He's like, well, both. Yeah, but I just heard barefoot in the kitchen. Hey, now. He's okay. That's better. He's like, well, that's not always. You got me flustered now. He says, I'm not being effeminate. That's good. You know, I'd get you for that one. And he's right. He's like, it's not like you don't like being barefoot in the kitchen. Touche. Sometimes. But my next statement was going to be, before I got all flustered, well, that's not necessarily where she belongs. He says, no, I know you've got a career and business and all kinds of, right. He says, but you also enjoy being home and like family and the kitchen. And yeah, that's true. She's not your mother or your maid, though. Don't forget it.
Go see the relatives. I know that there's more to like the pussy and percentages. Tell me what it is, oh, I never heard of it. This jet is smooth sailing when my spirit's feeling turbulence. Shifting from control to surrender is a struggle. Being hype about some shit feels like a setup to be humble. How can I trust my own excitement? It feels fragile. Half crash smile is the mask while the cash pile. Bitch, I'm empty in a tank until I can't. Every time I hit a roadblock, I turn it into a ramp. I be fucking up my plans till I learn my plans would've fucked me up. That's the only time somebody shut me up. Bitch, I'm empty in a tank until I can't. Every time I hit a roadblock, I turn it into a ramp. I be fucking up my plans till I learn my plans.
I always wonder, what are you doing with your life that would make you accuse sober people of doing those things? You know? It's very questionable. Also, like, why are you here? Sounds like a crackhead move to me. I don't like you, and I'm going to sit here and harass you. It sounds like you're on some kind of speed or something. Get a grip. Go seek therapy.
Everyone that I love is in a picture on my nightstand. Me fumbling and shit is not even a slight chance. Y'all be fucking over y'all queens for a botch bitch with makeup worse than Trump right hand pussy. Type of life I live will probably shorten your whole lifespan. I'm getting 5,000 times 100 just to touch a mic stand. You raising right hands talking about you ain't snitch. Judge looking like, alright, man. And I'm going 0 dark 30 mode, tunnel vision, so I do my dirt and clearing all the modes. All the goals, all the bows, calling all of those. Stood tall when y'all thought I fallen all the fold. Sign 8-figure deals like you host sign NDAs. I don't got time for you any day. Gotta reach out to my PA, catching a wave in my city like they watch me in a parade. If you think about city,
catch me signing an NDA. Ever. Not for any amount of money. Ever. How about that? Bitch, I can't be bought.
Hey, must be off the MDA, cause they gon' ride like Green Beret. Who would've thought we see today? When the nights that made me shake. We was broke but didn't break. I got 99 problems, but it ain't one that's in my way. Yeah, and I got insured in, so for sure I'm having my way. My trust might be the only thing I overtrust. Doing shows with Russ, afterwards performing for you, bitch. She let her open up. The gap between the ones I used to look up to is closing up, bitch. You know.
Somebody says, no, baby. No. I was offered to be put up. This was years ago. Long before the abuse got so bad. Or the damage got so bad, both. But I was offered by a multimillionaire to be put up in an $8 million home and like be taken care of. But the thing about that was I knew that that wasn't an environment for me or the person that I needed to be involved with or around. And so my freedom and independence was priceless. I don't care how many millions you have. No, that sounds like a trap to me.
Bitch, I'm empty in the tank until I can't. Every time I hit a roadblock, I turn it into a ramp. I be fucking up my plans till I learn my plans would have fucked me up. That's the only time somebody shut me up. Bitch, I'm empty in the tank until I can't. Every time I hit a roadblock, I turn it into a ramp. I be fucking up my plans till I learn my plans would have fucked me up. That's the only.
No, I actually got messages from this person more recently than not. I did not respond. Somebody says, you cut ties with a millionaire? Oh, easy. First, they showed up at my house. I barricaded myself inside and stayed away until they were gone. And then a year or more later, after massive amounts of karma and broken bones hit them, they reached out. Somebody says, do you regret it? No. I know it was the right choice. Not at all. They're the ones still trying to come back. People always do. Good people don't lose people. They lose us.
Somebody shut me up.
Good people dodge bullets. That was bullet dodged. A liability.
You got here first. You didn't.
No, she's right there.
I got here first. She's right there. Sounds like somebody's trying to claim. I knew Divine Feminine first. I want her. Weird. And I feel like that's what it is. I feel like that's people of the past trying to say that they've known her either longer or before, somebody who's actually good for her or better for her, or actually meant for her when they are not, or despite the fact that they were not. Maybe in their mind that they were. And I've encountered this before. I don't know if it's me as a medium, or I can just read people really well, or what, but like people will come across me, and it's happened a lot. They feel like they've never connected with anybody more than they have with me. And again, maybe it's just because I can intuit what's up a lot of the time, their feelings and stuff like that. I don't know. But even though they think that I understand them better than anyone else, I have had encounters or relationships where I felt more seen and understood, where they were deeper connections. So they might feel like they've never connected with anybody more, but I have. A lot of the time. And then they usually get mad at me. They don't understand. I get it. I understand where they're coming from. It's just that they don't understand where I'm coming from. Somebody says, that sounds very lonely or difficult to understand where everybody's coming from, even when they're wrong. But to not really truly be seen or understood, yeah, it can be very. That's why you learn the journey of self-love, and also why I don't give a fuck what people think or have to say. That's why these bullies trying to shame me or bully or belittle, whatever you're trying to do, it's not working. It's not going to. Period. What a waste of time and space and breath that was for them. Waste of their lives. I don't know why. They burn themselves out trying and trying harder. Feel that, right? Now they are hurt. Now their feelings really are hurt. You broke your own heart trying to break mine, babe. Feel that right there. Oh, that doesn't feel good, does it? Oh, it's draining. Oh, see, what's happened is the energy vampires have lost their supply. They're losing resources. Also, energy that they were trying to, this is what it feels like. It's like energy that they were siphoning from other sources or people has just left them. They're feeling defeated. Maybe it was the ego pop, burst their delusional little bubble, and the ego that they had. It's an ego wound. They're feeling drained. Because it's their big head and their ego that makes them feel like bullying people's okay, or makes them want to bully people to make themselves feel superior. And when you shatter that like I did, or I don't let them, yeah, well, they ended up feeling worse. Because their self-worth was banking on whether or not they could make me or other people feel like shit, and it didn't work. When you bank your self-esteem off of, or base your self-esteem off of whether or not you can hurt someone and it doesn't work, you end up being more hurt than when you started. When they try to make themselves feel better by hurting someone and it doesn't work, they feel worse. When they try to make somebody feel just as bad as they do or a little bit worse and it doesn't work, they feel even worse than they did when they started. Backfires. That's what I'm feeling on levels from them. Karmic is like, well, I'll just build from the bottom. God's like, no. You're being knocked down because you were using other people as stepping stones. You were never where you claimed to be anyway. Somebody with the qualifications that you claim to have would never be doing what you're doing at all. But they did.
knew that this was gonna happen. But I'm not gonna lie, you can make me cry 1,000 times. So come on it back, like what is going on with my head? Red, hot, and dead. All you do is come up on this game you to collect. Red, hot, and dead. Don't you know that I got tears of blood for you? I see you.
I heard this one. This was a new one. This popped up for me earlier. It's put out a day ago. You shush. Relax. I'll feed you later. Love you.
I knew one day I'd have
JP Sachs.
watch powerful the world down. I just didn't expect them to be such losers.
I have never seen submission embodied half so well as in the feeble competition between men with souls to sell. And I've never seen a god dog with less fearsome of a bite than with its tail between its legs found it through.
This music video is a bunch of guys in suits. It's like, I don't know what this is, a competitive work environment where they're dressed in like suits and ties and
man's side. Look at him, he's sweating from the climb off his work. The soldier CEO, he's bleeding and he's blind, and I have never seen a creature more pitiful than him. He drinks power like salt water, all because he can't swim.
she's talking about CEOs. He drinks power like salt water all because he cannot swim. I've never seen a creature more pitiful than him. Bound by society. Poor madman, that's what happens when you drink salt water.
And if
Paris Paloma. Let's do this one. I heard this one again too in the shower. Sending love to my mod squad. I hope they're all okay. Good vibes. Sending love.
Smile.
loving, baby, I need it around. Gotta give me something, you don't give me nothing. Yeah, just give it to me, baby. What you got can make me fall in love, and I don't know what it is. You remind me of drugs, and I don't know what got me, but it got me weak. You on my mind when I sleep, can't get you out of my dreams at all. You know I tried it, at times I died for you outside on one knee and cry, yeah, stay by my side. Gonna be my ride on, gonna be my ride, yeah, I'm talking about love. I just need to know, let me be your lover, baby, I can be your plug. Talking about another one, I don't need another one, yeah, just give it to me, baby. What you got can make me fall in love, and I don't know what it is. You remind me of drugs, and I don't know what got me, but it got me weak. You on my mind when I sleep, can't get you out of my dreams at all.
I know, what a dumb thing. I thought so too, I agree. Okay.
Well, she do whatever she like. That just don't seem right. Make people so mad, and they want us so bad. When we was fucking, almost missed my flight. Wasn't even tripping, I said it's alright. Goddamn, we was hit last night. Wasn't sure how to get along. Wasn't sure how to get along. Well, you was coughing when you hit my weed, yeah. But I've never seen you feel that free, yeah. So cute, you wanna be like me, yeah. Wasn't sure how to get along. Wasn't sure how to get along. Until there is no longer. Let's get lost inside the crowd. And you gotta work harder. I can calm you down. I can calm you down. Well, I was busy when you hit my phone. But you missed me, told me come back home. You don't really like to sleep alone. I'm always taking too long. I'm always taking too long. Baby, we don't need a trip, we can stay right here. When the shit gets weird, we can switch up gears. Wanna see your lips, listen ear to ear. Wanna hear your song. Oh, I wanna feel just how you feel. Touch it one more time so I know you're real. We can spin that wheel, wouldn't you rather get along? Until it is no longer. Let's get lost inside the clouds. And you gotta work harder. I can calm you down. I can calm you down. I think we just might be alright. Alright, thank God. I think we're gonna be alright. Alright, okay. Hold me close, don't hold me down. That's really your favorite. I know.
This is the Dell.
Shush. Oh, somebody's so mad. Okay, wait, what were those cards? The cat knocked over a couple decks off of the shelf. Why are they mad? Cycles. Because they're getting karma, and the cycles they tried to spin are over their closing, where they tried to just keep an issue going, and it's backfiring on them, or it has. Teddy swings. Oh, see? They thought they were going to get one up, and oh my goodness, the two cards that fell out. Told you. They thought they were going to get one up and over on people. They thought that they were going to, like, lord over people, ascend over people, or, like, again, make gains off of other people, chase clout, whatever it was. The opposite's happening. They're descending, or they've been... I'm being called to be quiet about a lot of this, but everything that they wanted for other people basically is what's blown up in their face, or will be, and they're scared. A lot of them are scared of that fortitude, because they know that the things that they put people through, symmetry, it's in reverse, it was not balanced, it was not fair, it was not okay, and they did things to people that they thought would destroy them, right? Which is why it baffled them when the targets were able to survive what they thought would take us out. And it baffled them because, again, when they were plotting in their heads, they were thinking of doing harmful things to us that they thought would destroy them if the roles were reversed. They knew if they were in our shoes and somebody did the things that they were doing to us to them, that it would destroy them in some way. Mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, financially, whatever it was. They knew it would destroy them. So they thought that if they did whatever it was to us, that it would knock us out. And then they were confused when it didn't. But these are not people who have God in their life either. Any kind of divine favor. So that's what's happening. Multitask. It's funny, it's what I've been doing today. I just split the deck on multitask. And then the strength card was in reverse for them. And I've been busy. I told you I had a couple of things to do. I still have some green juice to make and some bread, which really I should start that now. And I'm going to do this carrot salad really quickly too. But I already did a bunch of stuff earlier. A whole bunch of stuff. Including prepped a bunch of stuff for the next few days and also made soup. Not just. Also did a bunch of cleaning. I did a bunch of organizing my week and paperwork. Oh, I also... No, I'm being called to be quiet about that, but karmics were handled. I spoke to some of their superiors today. So, I was a busy lady.
I went crazy when he paid you.
Oh, I also shaved.
Nothing like this before.
I've been busy.
Took a little extra time on you before we let you walk out the door. You got that smile, babe. You got that Southern Mona Lisa, drive me wild, babe. I get it all just to keep you by my side, babe. I knew it from the jump. Fit right in my arms like you the one. Yeah, I'm ready for you. I'm ready for you. There's a light in your eyes, every color in the sky. Don't come close to you. Yeah, I'm ready for you. I'm ready for you. Swear to God, went crazy when he painted you.
karmic trying to send, well, there it is, crown chakra attacks. But they're calling it power of 3 will set us free. No. You're not calling for protection. That's an attack. They're calling on a source that's telling on them. They don't need protection from me. The source that they're trying to call for protection is telling me what they're doing because they're being abusive. Trying anyway. No.
Baby, you must have done something good in another life. Yeah. 50 Shades with them baby blues. So immaculate, we decide. You got that smile, babe. You got that touch, Mona Lisa, drive me wild, babe. I get it up just to keep you by my side, babe. I knew it from the jump. Fit right in my arms like you the one. Yeah, I'm ready for you. I'm ready for you. There's a light in your eyes, all the colors in the sky. Don't come close to. Yeah, I'm ready for you. I'm ready for you. Swear to God, we ain't crazy when it painted you.
Okay. So somebody was trying to do spell work, candle magic. I also light this just for the light and for protection, good vibes. Withdrawal. So you're moving past those who have issues with you. It no longer matters to you. You're clear of any psychic attacks and the evil eye during this time. Continue cleansing your energy, which is what we've been doing. Hello, South Africa. Someone thinks you hurt them and are mad and out to seek revenge. Yeah, well, we already know that. Someone is trying to use magic to place a curse on your family, so targeting family, and also money, right, like I said earlier. Pity party. They're going through a tough time and want you to experience the same thing. I told you they're misery-loaned company. Vibe clearing. You need to incorporate a regular habit of using protection herbs, sage, Palo Santo, to cleanse and clear negative energy from your surroundings, and also reversal magic. So 2 things. They're getting backfires on the spells and the stuff that they tried to send, right? They're getting backfires on any negative energy that was sent out. But now they were sending spells and such. Some of these people are trying to take down their altars, undo their spell work, or I hear uncrossing. I think they're called uncrossings. Blocks being removed. Yeah, whatever's holding you back is being removed as well. See, these are people who wanted to target even in the dream space, but it's reckless. It was reckless, not caring. Wow, not caring what they were doing to people as long as they got what they wanted. But spirit teams are coming hard on behalf of those they were targeting. Oh, see, abandoned, and they're feeling abandoned. And I mentioned this earlier. They don't even have the chance to run up to Winona Ryder, so to speak, in that analogy, and ask for a autograph, because they already know in advance that Winona Ryder says, no, I don't like you, so they already know better than to run up. And so since they know they can't even ask the girl that they used to go to school with for an autograph, they would just rather bully her instead, because they know she will never even talk to them or give them an autograph willingly. Imagine. I got a song for you. Speaking of, he just talked about Mona Lisa. I don't remember the song name. Picture this, Winona Ryder. Shush.
She's got attitude, I wouldn't try her. And she looks just like a young Winona Ryder. And when she's mad at you, she'll set you on fire with a stare. And I get nervous when I am around.
Public eye. You're being watched by multiple people who don't have your best interest at heart. Oh, I know. Someone has... I picked up another one earlier. Someone has... I didn't even mention it. But someone has ill thoughts towards you, but there's nothing they can physically or spiritually do about it. Exactly. They're being cleansed out. Someone's... I told you it was jealousy. Jealous of you and the accomplishments that you've made. Yeah, well. Oh, that's funny. Look. I knew I was forgetting something. In the shower, I was hearing Rusalka. A Rusalka. I'm like, are you saying that somebody's saying that about me? Or are you saying that that's what these karmics are calling? Like, they're calling on Rusalka deities, which is like an evil mermaid spirit. No, they're calling on Rusalkas, some of them. Dream attacks. See? They're calling on dream attacks. Because water also governs intuition. Instant karma. They're getting instant karma for this. Soul tie. This is somebody who wanted to tie themselves to you. Or your life somehow. They didn't want to let go. But they're getting instant karma. Yeah, well. It's almost Libra season. Scales are being balanced.
And I get nervous when I am around her, 'cause I worship this woman from the ground up. And I'd do anything just to spend a while anywhere when she's there. And I don't wanna step out of line.
Okay, so these jumped out. What does this say? Spying. That's funny. Someone's trying to use divination tools, or this could be stalking me here, to pry into your personal life for their advantage. Marine Kingdom. Right. See, they're trying to use dark entities. And there was an extra confirmation about that. The evil, dispatching like evil demons and deities card came out. But then also, this is why I speak up and I whistle blow about it, because I know there are good people listening and watching. And this doesn't... It says silent... What does it say? Silent white worker. This could be a white lighter, so another reference, or it's just like an archangel. This could be somebody praying for you. This could be somebody lighting protective candles for you. This could be somebody talking to their ancestors for you. This could be somebody doing, this could be like a good cop who knows that there are criminals targeting somebody, and so instead of letting it slide, they're quietly apprehending those criminals behind the scenes. It doesn't have to just be spiritual. There are many types of earth angels, light workers in the world, white lighters, so to speak. Yeah. Also, who's to say that cops don't believe in the spiritual realm? In fact, I know a lot of them do. Cops, firefighters, people in those agencies often do. There are specifically patron saints that you will find in some police officers' cars, or like in their wallets, or if it's not like a little, you know those little metal charms, tiny little, looks like it could go on a bracelet or something. It has, you know, like Mother Mary, or usually Saint Michael, Archangel Michael. If it's not that, then it's a little credit card sized printout of a prayer with whatever saint on it. And it's because Archangel Michael, for example, there are a few of them that you will sometimes find, but there's a tie to patron saint of police officers. So if you have police officers carrying around little cards or little bracelet charm trinkets with a saint on it because they believe it will offer them protection, do not tell me that people in blue collar jobs or whatever you would consider that don't believe in spirituality also. They absolutely do. And maybe not all of them, but plenty of them, more than you might think. That's why they have those in their cars. Speaking of, as I split the deck, divine protection. What was behind that? It's backwards. Spiritual bath, salt bath. See, I told you they're getting backfires, and I picked up these downloads in the bath earlier. Let's do one more. Dream attacks. What's over here? Candle magic. Let's get one more on that. Something that hasn't come out yet. Abandonment. It's the same messages. Power. See? Energy harvesting. Oh, and theft magic's behind that. I think we're good to go now. We know. Yeah, they were trying to take something that wasn't theirs. Or distract. No. No. Yeah, backfire. Dark energy will be returned back to the sender. Failed attempt.
I just wanted to spend the night. Now I'm falling in love and it feels like the first time I had enough till she walked into my life. Head to toe in desire. Like a young motor rider. I'm falling in love and it feels real this time. I had enough till she walked into my life. Head to toe in desire. Like a young drive you wild, bring my serotonin out until she's tired. And sometimes she pretends she ain't got no style, but she's aware, she's aware. And I step out of line, I just wanted her to spend the night. Now I'm falling in love and it feels like the first time. I had enough till she walked into my life. Head to toe in desire. Like a young motor rider. I'm falling in love and it feels real this time. I had enough till she walked into my life. Head to toe in desire. Like a young motor rider. And there'll be stranger things that happened than this girl interrupted me. And we were lost souls on the headers, but she still fell in love with me. Now I'm falling in love and it feels like the first time. I had enough till she walked into my life. Head to toe in designer. Like a young Winona rider. Yeah, I'm falling in love and it feels real this time.
Okay, we're done. Try this. Yeah, that one.
Compliments of the chef.
No.
Oh.
Why did I just pick up France? I don't know why. Compliments of the chef. I don't know why that's reminded me of France. You know, the only aunt that I have that I talk to, actually, works at a French restaurant. She likes it there.
Wanna put my hands on your waist. Wanna dance slow in the room with the lights dim. At night time we lie awake. I don't wanna go to sleep now cause I like this. Come and spend the night at your place. Looking so pretty like your face is a paragon. Please stay, don't go away. Same chick, this isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. I wanna be there when you need it the most. Feel so cold when I can't keep you close. I wanna be there when you don't need me at all. Let me be the one that you, let me be the one that you call. The one that you call. Let me be the one that you call. The one that you call. By far you're the highlight on my face. Open up your eyes in the morning, I get lost in them. I can never lie about a day. I love the shape and the shade, it can go given. We can put the fire on again. Lay down in the rain, find a life in the future. I can give you my name, my love. My name, my love. I wanna be there when you need it the most. I feel so hollow when I can't keep you close. I wanna be there when you don't need me at all. Let me be the one that you, let me be the one that you call. That you call. Let me be the one that you call. The one that you call. Let me be the one that you call. The one that you call. Let me be the one that you call. The one that you
Which one was that?
If you're an elite,
I couldn't quite remember what song it was.
I like when you do that thing that you do. That made me go crazy. Especially when I know you drain 42. You better go crazy. Oh, She don't want me helping with the bill, I say that's admirable. She don't leave the house unless she travel international. I don't spoil her so much, it's my fault she's irrational. Purses, yachts, and villas, what the fuck is being practical? I got her accustomed to going through customs. She makes me feel something that I never felt before. I just hope this lasts, girl. Time is moving fast, girl. That's why it ain't nothing, give you everything and more. I like when you do that thing that you do. That made me go crazy. Especially when I know you drain 42. You better go crazy. Nothing but your loving, girl. The only thing I ask for is a chance. Yeah. The way that ass looks in those biker shorts, of course I took you on a tour of friends. Yeah, think my love language is Apple Pay. I like giving cash away. Her Rolex is rose. My Rolls Royce looks like Cabernet. I love you, I love whoever you. Know who I write essays to. You don't think your titties give me oxytocin, yes and I like when you do that thing that you do. That made me go crazy. Especially when I know you drain 42.
Sorry, that was loud. I think we're just about... I don't really want to play that other song right now. It's a little bit heavy. Not heavy as in like the music, but just the topic. So let's do this. I found a spooky story earlier, and I haven't listened to it yet, so I want to. So we're going to hang out and do that, I guess.
The GPS died 3 miles before I reached Whisper Lake, leaving me with nothing but a hand-drawn map from the county office and the growing certainty that I'd made a terrible mistake. The road narrowed as it wound through dense pine forest, each turn revealing more shadows than sunlight. Even at 2 in the afternoon, the canopy above blocked most of the sky, creating a perpetual twilight that made my headlights seem necessary. I'd taken this job to escape. Boston had chewed me up and spat me out. A failed marriage, a stalled career, and one too many nights staring at the bottom of a whiskey glass. When the posting for Sheriff of Whisper Lake appeared, promising quiet small-town life and a chance to start over, I grabbed it without looking too closely at the details. Small towns were supposed to be simple, predictable, safe. The first sign that Whisper Lake might not fit that mold came when I crested the hill and saw the town spread below me. It looked wrong somehow, like a photograph with the contrast turned down. The buildings clustered around the shoreline of a massive lake that stretched beyond the tree line, its surface so still it might have been black glass. No boats disturbed the water, no docks jutted into its depths. The town simply ended at the water's edge, as if the lake had claimed everything beyond. I parked outside the sheriff's office, a squat brick building that looked like it hadn't been updated since the 1970s. The parking lot was empty except for a single patrol car and my own vehicle. As I climbed out, the silence hit me like a physical weight. No traffic sounds, no voices, no music drifting from open windows. Just the whisper of wind through pine needles and my own footsteps on cracked asphalt. The office door opened before I could reach for the handle. A woman stepped out, 30-something with dark hair pulled back severely and eyes the color of lake water in winter. Her uniform was pressed and professional, but she wore it like armor. Sheriff Carter. Her voice carried no warmth. Deputy Mara Thorne. I extended my hand. She looked at it for a long moment before shaking it briefly, her grip firm and cold. Glad to meet you, Deputy. Looking forward to working together. Her expression suggested she felt differently. Your predecessor left some materials for you. I think you'll want to review them before you settle in. She handed me a manila folder thick with papers. The top sheet was titled Whisper Lake Municipal Code, Special Ordinances, in careful handwriting. Special Ordinances. Local regulations. Nothing complicated. Her tone suggested the opposite. The important thing is that everyone follows them. Everyone. I flipped through the pages, catching fragments of bizarre rules. No lights facing the woods after sundown. No loud noises past 8 p.m. Never whistle after dark. The list went on, each rule more peculiar than the last. This is quite a list. Are these actually enforced? Something flickered behind her eyes. Fear, maybe, or anger. Every single one, without exception. Before I could ask more questions, a man approached from across the street. 50s. Soft around the middle, wearing a politician's practiced smile that didn't reach his eyes. Sheriff Carter, welcome to Whisper Lake. His handshake was enthusiastic but brief. John Prue, Mayor. Hope Deputy Thorne is getting you oriented. She was just showing me your local ordinances. Quite comprehensive. The mayor's smile tightened. We take community standards seriously here. Maintaining the peace is our highest priority. I trust you'll help us keep it that way. There was weight behind his words, an undertone that suggested keeping the peace meant more than preventing bar fights and domestic disputes. I glanced at Deputy Thorne, who was watching our exchange with barely concealed tension.
McDonald's is putting
Shush. Because I'm slicing carrots. No. Not here. As I'm slicing carrots, I was just thinking about prepping the ingredients for my next recipe.
Rules seem necessary, Thorne interrupted. They're all necessary. Mayor Prue nodded enthusiastically. Exactly.
I don't know
Our
where
little
Sebastian.
community has thrived for generations by respecting certain traditions. I'm sure a man of your experience understands the importance of not rocking the boat. The phrase felt loaded with meaning I couldn't grasp. I was about to ask for clarification when a bell began to toll from somewhere in the town center. 6 deep, resonant chimes that seemed to hang in the air longer than they should have. As the last note faded, I realized the few people visible on the streets had stopped walking. They stood motionless, heads slightly bowed, until several seconds after the silence returned. Then, as if released from a spell, they resumed their activities. What was that? 6 o'clock bell, Mayor Prue said, checking his watch. Town hall. Another tradition. People seemed to react to it. Respect, Deputy Thorne said flatly. They show respect. Before I could ask what that meant, she was walking away, her boots clicking against the pavement with military precision. The mayor offered another politician's smile and excused himself, leaving me alone with the folder of inexplicable rules and growing sense of unease. I decided to explore the town before heading to my new apartment above the office. Whisper Lake was larger than I'd expected, with several streets of modest houses extending back from the shoreline. But it felt empty, almost abandoned. Windows were shuttered or covered with heavy curtains. The few residents I glimpsed moved quickly and quietly, making eye contact with no one. At the end of Main Street, I found the library, a small brick building with mullioned windows that glowed warmly in the gathering dusk. Inside, an elderly woman sat behind the circulation desk, silver hair pulled into a neat bun, reading glasses perched on her nose. She looked up as I entered, and I saw recognition in her eyes before I'd even introduced myself. You must be our new sheriff, she said quietly. Eleanor Vance, town historian and librarian. Ben Carter, pleasure to meet you. She studied my face for a long moment. I knew your predecessor. Good man. Understood the importance of keeping things quiet. That word again, loaded with implications I couldn't decode. Mrs. Vance, can you help me understand something? These local ordinances Deputy Thorne gave me, they seem unusual for a small town. Her expression grew sad, almost pitying. They're not ordinances, Sheriff. They're rules. Rules that keep people safe. Safe from what? She glanced toward the windows where darkness was beginning to gather between the trees. From making noise, from drawing attention, from forgetting that some places demand respect. Before I could ask what she meant, she turned back to her book, effectively ending our conversation. I left the library more confused than when I'd entered. That evening, I walked the streets to get a feel for my new territory. The transformation was stark. By 8 p.m., the town had gone completely silent. No car engines, no television sounds bleeding through windows, no voices from porches or yards. It was as if the entire population had simply vanished. Near the lake shore, I spotted a figure walking slowly along the water's edge. A man in his 40s, dressed in work clothes, moving with strange mechanical steps. His arms hung at his sides, and his face was completely blank, eyes staring straight ahead at nothing. I called out to him. "Excuse me, sir?" He didn't respond, didn't even turn his head. I started toward him, but a hand grabbed my arm. "Don't." Deputy Thorne materialized out of the shadows, her voice urgent. "Don't look at him. Don't speak to him. Just walk away." "What's wrong with him? Is he hurt?" "He's gray-touched," she whispered. "There's nothing you can do." Nothing anyone can do. The man continued his slow procession along the shoreline, oblivious to our presence. In the growing darkness, he looked less like a person than a puppet being guided by invisible strings. What does that mean? Gray touched. Thorn's grip on my arm tightened. It means he's already lost. It means looking at him too long, speaking to him, trying to help. It draws attention, the wrong kind of attention. From who? She released my arm and stepped back, her face pale in the moonlight. You really don't understand, do you? This isn't some backwoods superstition, Sheriff. This is survival. I watched the strange man disappear into the darkness along the lake shore, then turned back to Thorn. Then explain it to me. Make me understand. She shook her head slowly. You will. Soon enough, you will. That night, I lay in my narrow bed above the sheriff's office, listening to the absolute silence outside my window. The folder of rules sat on my nightstand, and I found myself reading them again by lamplight. No lights facing the woods or lake after sundown. No loud noises past 8 p.m. Never whistle after dark. The absurdity of it gnawed at me. I was a law enforcement officer, not some superstitious local. These people needed to understand that I was here to bring real order, not to enable their paranoid fantasies. They needed to see that their fears were groundless. I got up, went to my window, and deliberately turned my desk lamp to face the woods. The beam cut through the darkness, illuminating the edge of the tree line. Nothing happened. No mysterious figures emerged from the shadows. No supernatural entities manifested to punish my defiance. Then I opened the window and shouted into the night air, "This is your new sheriff!" The rules are changing. My voice echoed across the still water and died among the trees. The silence that followed was complete and oppressive, pressing against my eardrums like depth pressure. Still, nothing happened. Satisfied with my small act of rebellion, I turned off the lamp and went back to bed. If the townspeople wanted to live in fear of imaginary monsters, that was their choice. But I wouldn't be part of their delusion. I slept deeply for the first time in months. The hammering on my door woke me before dawn. Deputy Thorne stood in the hallway, her face grim and pale. "We have a body," she said without preamble. "Lakeshore. You need to see this." I dressed quickly and followed her to the water's edge. A small crowd had gathered, maintaining a respectful distance from something lying on the rocky beach. As we approached, they parted silently, their faces showing a mixture of fear and accusation. The body belonged to a woman in her 30s, lying on her back with her arms at her sides. Her eyes were open, staring at the lightening sky, and her face was frozen in an expression of absolute terror. But there were no wounds, no signs of violence, no indication of how she had died. "Martha Henley," Thorne said quietly. "Works at the post office. Worked at the post office." I knelt beside the body, looking for any clue about the cause of death. The woman's skin was cold as marble, but she couldn't have been dead long. Rigor mortis hadn't set in. Her clothes were dry despite lying so close to the water's edge. "When was she found?" 20 minutes ago, old Tom Brewster was checking his boat. Thorne paused, then added with cold fury, "She broke the code last night, Sheriff." She turned on her porch light after sundown, pointed it right at the tree line. I looked up at her. "Are you suggesting her death is related to a porch light?" "I'm not suggesting anything. I'm telling you." Thorne's voice was deadly quiet. "You broke the code last night, too. Your light, your shouting, and now it's taken notice. The crowd was watching us now, their faces showing the same mixture of fear and blame. I could feel their judgment, their certainty that somehow my actions had caused this woman's death. Standing slowly, I looked out at the still lake, then back at the impossible corpse at my feet. Martha Henley's terrified eyes seemed to stare directly at me, accusing and desperate. For the first time since arriving in Whisper Lake, I felt afraid. The state medical examiner arrived 3 hours after sunrise, a weathered man in his 60s named Dr. Raymond Cross, who moved through Whisper Lake like he'd rather be anywhere else. I watched him examine Martha Henley's body in the makeshift morgue we'd set up in the town hall basement, hoping his professional expertise might reveal what my initial inspection had missed. "Damnedest thing I've seen in 30 years, he muttered, adjusting wire-rimmed glasses as he peered at the corpse. No trauma whatsoever. Heart's intact, lungs clear, no signs of poisoning, drug use, or asphyxiation. What about that expression on her face? Dr. Cross glanced at Martha's frozen features, eyes wide with terror, mouth slightly open as if she'd died mid-scream. Cadaveric spasm. Sometimes occurs with extreme psychological trauma at the moment of death, but I've never seen it this pronounced, like she witnessed something that literally frightened her to death. Is that medically possible? Theoretically, severe shock can trigger cardiac arrest, but there should be evidence. Elevated stress hormones, signs of sympathetic nervous system activation. This woman's blood chemistry reads completely normal. He stripped off his latex gloves with sharp snaps. Officially, I'm ruling this death by natural causes.
Somebody said you didn't measure any of that. No, I don't need to.
And cardiac failure.
I'm telling your ancestors
The
tell you to
finality
stop.
in his voice suggested he wanted to leave town quickly. His eyes kept darting toward the basement windows where afternoon shadows were already lengthening. Natural causes? Doctor, look at her face. Look where she was found. There's nothing natural about this death. Dr. Cross packed his equipment with practiced efficiency. Sheriff, I've been making this drive from Augusta for 3 decades. Seen plenty of unexplained deaths in Whisper Lake. Bodies with no apparent cause. People who just stopped living.
1 second, you feel safe.
A little bit more of this. So spicy. More of that. That's what I'm missing. Stop. I'm gonna try that.
Every time I push for deeper investigation, I hit walls. The locals don't want answers. They want certificates signed and outsiders gone. But you're a medical professional. Doesn't this disturb you? He paused at the stairs, glancing back at Martha's covered form. Of course it disturbs me, but I learned long ago that some places operate by different rules. Some communities don't welcome questions from strangers. His gaze met mine with something resembling pity. Take advice from someone who's dealt with Whisper Lake for 30 years. Don't dig too deep. Sign whatever needs signing and focus on keeping peace. After his departure, I spent the afternoon interviewing townspeople about Martha Henley. The response was uniformly frustrating. Polite, but absolute stonewalling. Nobody had seen anything unusual. Nobody heard strange sounds. Martha had seemed fine yesterday, and now she was dead. These things happen sometimes in Whisper Lake. At the post office where Martha worked, her supervisor Linda Crow barely made eye contact. Martha was reliable, quiet worker, never caused problems. When did you last see her? Yesterday, around 5. Left early, complained of feeling unwell. Did she seem frightened? Worried about anything specific? Linda's hands trembled as she shuffled unnecessary paperwork. Sheriff, I really don't know anything helpful. Martha's gone, and talking won't bring her back. Mrs. Crow, I'm investigating potential foul play. There wasn't any. Her certainty was absolute. There never is when these things happen. Before I could ask what she meant by these things, she'd retreated to the back office, effectively ending our conversation. My next stop was Mayor Prule's town hall office. He sat behind his desk wearing the resigned expression of someone preparing to deliver unwelcome news. Sheriff Carter, please sit. We need discussion. I remained standing. If this concerns my investigation, it concerns your methods. He opened a manila folder. I've received 19 complaints since yesterday morning. Disturbing the peace, harassment, failure to respect community standards. The town council held an emergency session.
That's it for a minute.
Community standards? Mayor, a woman died under mysterious circumstances. Investigation is my job. Your job, he said, political composure showing cracks, is maintaining order. Keeping peace, not stirring panic with aggressive questioning and wild theories. Wild theories? I'm conducting standard death investigation procedures. Nothing standard about Whisper Lake. The words emerged harder than intended. He forced his politician's smile back. I mean, we have established ways of handling these situations. Dr. Cross ruled natural causes. The family wants no extended investigation. This matter is closed. Like hell it is. I wasn't hired to rubber stamp mysterious deaths. Mayor Prue's smile vanished completely. You were hired to serve this community's best interests. Right now, that means stepping back and allowing people to grieve peacefully. Consider this an official reprimand, Sheriff. Further disruption will result in formal employment review. I left his office seething. 20 years in law enforcement, and I'd never encountered such systematic obstruction. Every lead blocked, every question deflected, every proper procedure stonewalled by people who seemed more afraid of investigation than of whatever killed Martha Henley. As evening approached, I walked through town again, searching for overlooked details. The familiar transformation was beginning. Windows shuttering, lights carefully positioned away from woods and lake. Voices dropping to whispers as 8 o'clock neared. Near the high school, music broke the gathering quiet. Not careful, muted sounds the town typically permitted, but genuine rock music played at volume that carried across still air. I followed the sound to a modest house where a teenager sat on front steps with a portable speaker, nodding to the beat. Evening, I called. Mind sharing your name? Danny Morrison. He didn't lower the volume. You're the new sheriff. That's right. You realize it's past 8 o'clock? Town ordinances specify... Town ordinances are bullshit. His voice carried bitter rebellion. I won't whisper my whole life away because old people fear darkness. Before I could respond...
Somebody says, what is that? Just a carrot. Without anything on it? Yeah. Just a carrot.
Deputy Thorne emerged from shadows, moving urgently. Her face showed fear and anger. Danny, turn off that music, immediately. Go to hell, Mara. I'm not breaking actual laws. She reached for the speaker, but Danny jerked it away, jumping up. Music continued blaring, sonic rebellion against enforced silence. You don't understand, Thorne said with desperate urgency. This isn't about laws. It's survival. Turn it off before... Before what? Danny's voice rose, competing with music. Before the boogeyman comes? Before forest monsters attack? This entire town is insane. The silence that followed came suddenly, unnaturally.
Oh dear.
Danny's speaker hadn't been turned off. It had simply died, its display dark despite showing full battery moments before. More disturbing was the absolute quiet that descended. No night sounds, no rustling leaves, no distant electrical hum. As if the world had stopped breathing. Danny's defiance crumbled instantly. Face pale, he stepped closer to Thorne. What just happened? He whispered. Go inside, Danny. Lock your doors. Don't emerge until morning. But I was just playing music. Inside. Now, the boy ran for his house, slamming the door. The sound echoed unnaturally in still air, hanging longer than physics allowed. Thorne turned to me, face grim. It's growing stronger. More sensitive. Rules that used to be flexible are becoming absolute. 3 days later, Danny Morrison was found wandering Main Street at dawn, his eyes vacant and unfocused. When people tried to speak to him, he looked right through them as if they didn't exist. He'd joined the ranks of the Grey Touched. Desperate and ostracized by the entire town, I finally swallowed my pride. and sought out Eleanor Vance. The library was closed, but she answered my knock at the rear entrance within seconds, as if she'd been waiting. "Sheriff Carter, I've been expecting you. Have you? Why?"
That's strange. You know what we'll do? Somebody's very angry. Why are you so angry? Why are you so cranky? Play, please. Let's see. Okay. Oops. There we are. Wanted to freeze for a second. Let's do a retired monster hunter.
Lately, I've barely been able to keep my head above water financially.
Yikes.
For the past 2 years, I've moved around chasing job listings and low rent. I've sank low enough to accept a door-to-door sales job. It had something to do with a water filter. I doubted the services were legit, but I got paid per sale. After 3 days of getting the door slammed in my face, I got desperate enough to head into a neighborhood with longer lawns and cracks in the sidewalk. I just needed one more sale, and I swore I would quit this awful job. The sun had started to set by the time I arrived at the last house on the block. I considered not bothering with it. One of the front windows was broken, with nothing but cardboard keeping the insects out. I regret ever going up the wooden front steps to knock on the door. A few seconds of silence passed after my short knocks. I had turned to leave when the door opened a crack. Inside was too dark to see the man's face fully. I was so surprised someone actually answered, I fumbled with the papers in my hands. "What are you selling?" The man asked in a deep voice. "I'm with the Clearwater's filtration systems.
Can't reach.
If I could have a moment of your time, I would like to display how dirty your tap water is," I said. My voice as tired as I felt from being on my feet all day. The man didn't move for a few seconds. He kept looking over me, trying to see if I was a threat. Finally, he opened the door the rest of the way to let me inside.
That's dangerous. Well, I needed
I
it.
paused, debating on how much I needed this sale. The fact I hadn't had a meal in 2 days was the factor that made me follow the owner of the house. Inside was dark and smelled musty. I expected it to be dirty, but there wasn't much inside. The old floorboards creaked as he led me to the kitchen. The room was almost bare. A table with 2 chairs took up most of the space. There was a full knife block, a microwave, and a fridge. No dishwasher. No plates or mugs. Not even any trash. "May I have a cup of water to test?" I asked. My stomach turned. My body knew something was wrong before my brain caught up. The man was taller than me and well-built. He looked well-fed compared to my thinner frame. I wasn't always like this. Years ago, I was in shape, but not having reliable meals hit me hard. By the time I clued into my situation, it was far too late. I had already walked into a trap. Instead of getting me a glass of water, the man took a step closer to me. I raised my clipboard as if it would protect me. He took me out with a single punch to the face. My body hit the ground hard, my nose bleeding.
Yikes.
Panic started to set in. I shook my head, trying to clear my racing thoughts. I cursed the idea that I could have taken this guy in a fight a year ago, and just how much I let myself go. His hands fell on me, causing me to struggle. I yelled as I kicked at his legs. With some effort, he got me pinned down to the floor. He painfully pulled my arms behind my back. My wrists were held together with one hand as he used the other to slam my head into the ground, hard enough to make my vision go black. In the few seconds I was out, he put a zip tie painfully around my wrists. I felt him lifting my body to my feet. I needed to do something. I jerked back out of his grasp to land hard against the counter. The knife block fell, causing a few of the blades to slide out. I grabbed the handle of one with my bound hands. I had a weapon, but no way to use it. A knock at the door made us both freeze.
It's vanilla.
I almost screamed for help. A barrel of a gun pointing directly at my face made my mouth close.
It's assault.
I let him force me into a chair. My hand still gripping the knife he hadn't noticed. The man didn't need to say anything. His eyes told me everything I needed to know. I watched as he walked out of the room, towards the door and to a new victim. I heard muffled words as I frantically got to work cutting at the zip tie. I sliced open my fingers trying to use the knife. I felt the zip tie snag just as my attacker came back inside the room with someone new. I froze again. If I made a run for it, I would get shot. I needed to wait for the right moment to get the jump on this man, praying the element of surprise would be his trigger finger. The new person had wavy black hair and a bright, dimpled smile on his face. His pressed white shirt and sharp dress pants looked out of place in a house like this. He held some booklets in his hand. My face dropped when I read the words, "The Watchtower," on the front. This poor guy was just trying to spread the good word, only to get caught up with all this. His smile faltered when he saw my face. His eyes followed the blood from my nose to my now stained shirt. "Is this a bad time? I can come back later." The newcomer spoke in a softer tone that matched his appearance. His face held a nervous smile. The man who had let him inside said nothing. When the newcomer moved to step away, he was caught in a flash. I winced at the sound of him hitting the table hard. The booklet spilled to the floor as the larger man pinned him down. "Please, I haven't seen anything. I won't." He started begging, but got cut off. Just like myself, he had his wrists zip tied together. When that was done, he was forced into the chair on the other end of the table, scared as hell. His entire body shook. I didn't blame him. My heart raced as I carefully waited for the right time to act. I can't believe how lucky I am. 2 products just knocked on my door. Here I thought I was only shipping 1 today. Now behave. You're worth more alive. Our kidnapper spoke as he ran a hand over his bald head. I saw the gun in the back of his waistband. I judged the distance between us. Would I have enough time to reach him before he pulled his gun? Or should I wait until he got closer? I didn't have the chance to think through my plan. The stress of the situation was too much for the other man. He bolted upwards, trying to escape. There was a quick struggle that ended in a single gunshot. I stared in horror as the body hit the floor. A pristine white shirt slowly started turning red with blood. I began to feel sick. My stomach turned over the simple fact that if I had acted sooner, this wouldn't have happened. I had a knife in my hand, and yet a man was now bleeding out on the floor in front of me. Like I said, you're worth more alive. The deep voice snapped me from my shock. Stepping over the body, the attacker took the 2 steps to my chair. The still hot muzzle of the gun was pressed to my cheek. I got dizzy from fear. My hands shook so badly that I nearly dropped the still hidden knife.
It's a little bit more.
I'll make you a deal. Call 2 people over here and I'll let you go free. He offered as he brought his face closer to mine. I smelled his terrible breath. I started to pull my head away, but he grabbed a fistful of short hair to keep me still. I stammered. I was going to tell the truth, that I truly didn't have anyone in my life I could call. But even if I did, he would just shoot them. And for what purpose? Who would pay for dead bodies? Wasn't this all too risky? In the back of my mind, I knew the answer.
Looking for that.
One so gruesome, I didn't dare consider it until the black-haired man on the floor moved. His eyes met mine. Then his mouth formed a smile that made my body turn cold. Oh, come on, no one? Handsome guy like yourself must have a girlfriend. What about a relative or two you don't like? The man said in a mocking voice. I wasn't fully listening to him. As he spoke, the person I was positive had been shot dead started to silently move. The kidnapper's face was so focused on mine that he didn't notice what was happening right behind him. Turn around, I hissed. Not falling for that, he replied, his face dropping in anger. I felt his hand start looking through my pockets for my phone. I shook my head, pleading for this man to just look over his shoulder. I no longer needed the knife for him, and it would be best to save it for what came next. Turn the hell around, I snapped again. There's nothing, he yelled as he finally listened to my warning. He moved to be face to face with the man he just shot. I watched in disbelief as the thing I assumed to be a person got on all fours to climb up the table, not making a sound. It easily scaled the wall to stand on the ceiling as if that was normal. A wide, dimpled smile appeared on his face when the bald man finally saw what he'd invited into his house. To his credit, the man raised the gun faster than expected. His wrist was caught and snapped in one fluid motion. His cry of pain was cut short. He was swiftly tossed across the room, denting the cheap drywall on the other side. I caught the eyes of the monster before me. He gave me a wink before jumping down from the ceiling. Sit tight, he said in a gentle voice I didn't trust. I needed to run. If this monster was focused on the other man, I had a chance to get away. I looked down at the bloodstained floor, also covered in religious pamphlets. WWJD had been written across the top of one of them. My face twitched into an annoyed smile for a second.
So close.
I hated what I had gotten myself into. I watched as the bald man got hauled back to his feet. His wrist was bruised and swollen, his head bleeding from going through the drywall. His body was forced into a chair by the strength of the false Jehovah's Witness. The chair was spun around so they were face to face. I gripped the knife tighter, waiting for whatever horrors I may see. You were saying we were products. Who's your buyer? Is Mr. Shark or someone else?
Oh yeah, thank you.
The dark-haired man asked in a forced, kind voice. He pinned down the other man's wrist to the chair. When that didn't fully work, he forced a knee into his stomach. Fuck you. If the seller ratted out his buyer, he would be placing a target on his own back. If he didn't give up the information now, he would be tortured. Spilling what he knew would save him a great deal of pain, but his pride wouldn't allow it. For a moment, I thought they were at a stalemate, but monsters have a way of making people talk. A small tube with a point at the end came out of the dark-haired man's mouth. I jumped when it shot out directly into the corner of the bald man's eye. He let out a cut-off scream. Then his body froze in place. When the tube slid out, only a small amount of blood trickled down his cheek. I saw the sheer terror in his frozen expression. Whatever this creature had done, it made it impossible for him to fight back. Could have done this the easy way. Actually, so far you made my job really easy by letting me inside. Your greed made you take risks. Your gun gave you confidence. Such a shame you won't be able to learn from your mistakes. I expected this monster to sound cruel, but he used the same voice as he did when he first walked into the room. The fact he sounded so normal made my skin crawl. He raised both hands beside the man's bald head. His index finger suddenly transformed into sharp claws that reminded me of insect legs. He placed the tip of a finger on the back of the man's head, slowly tracing a circle that connected in the front. If I had eaten recently, I would have thrown up. At the sight of the top of this person's head being cleanly lifted off, showing an exposed brain slowly pulsing. If I was a stronger person, I would have attacked the creature while it was distracted. Instead, I shut my eyes tight when the face of the monster in front of me changed. It went from a dimpled smile to a face opening in 4 segments. I didn't get a good enough look at it to see just how terrible this monster really was, but I heard some of it. The awful noises of a terrible mouth gorging on a gruesome meal.
Yep.
I didn't know how long I kept my eyes closed. It could have been minutes or an hour. There was a chance that because I wasn't a target, this creature might let me leave unharmed. I should have begged for my life to get that slim chance of walking away. Instead, I did something stupid. I decided the world didn't need a monster like this one, and I needed to do something about it. I felt a hand fall on my shoulder. In a flash, I brought the knife down into this creature's neck. His face returned to normal. An offended expression appeared on his face. "Ow," he said, without any pain in his voice. At least I caught him slightly off guard. I stood up, grabbing his hand. He was confused enough to not shake out of my grasp, to let me do what I wanted. A burning sensation came from our hands. It jolted him enough to toss me into the counter, but I expected that. I was now within reach of the knives, and the only weapon in the room. If I went for them to start with, he would have stopped me. I needed to make him push me over there. My vision became blurry from stress and an empty stomach. I forced myself to move. In a second, he covered the distance between us. My goal was to cut off his head. Most creatures couldn't live after being decapitated. The knives were good enough to cut through bone, but I needed to put extra power into them. Power my weak body didn't have. Within seconds, my attack failed. I'd gotten a few more knives into his body, but he had me by the throat. My vision fading and my body weak. I saw his face open, ready for another meal. A loud thump from upstairs made him pause. His face returned to a human one. His grip loosened enough for me to breathe, but not escape. "You said 3 products, right? Let's go see who the third person is," the monster said, his dimpled smile returning. I didn't have the strength to fight him. I struggled in vain as he dragged me up the stairs to the bedroom where the noise came from. Again, I was tossed aside as he walked over to the shaking closet door. My knees buckled as I stood up. I needed to find a weapon, anything to stop him. I refused to give this monster one more meal. My heart dropped when small feet rushed out of the closet when the door opened. A child, no more than 4, attached themselves to the man's leg, crying for their father. My mouth became dry as he reached down to pick the child up, looking over the dirty, tear-stained face. I had to do something. As I looked around the empty room for something useful, something unthinkable happened. The poor child wrapped small arms around the man's neck and started to sob. Carefully, he raised his hands to better support the tiny body. His head slowly turned to let his eyes meet mine. My mouth fell slightly open at his expression. I swear I saw stars in his eyes. At first, I assumed his favorite meal was tender children's flesh, but it dawned on me that maybe that wasn't the case.
No, it's
It's so cute. The tension in my body drained after those words. I fell to the floor, exhausted in more ways than one. "If you try to hurt that kid, I'll kill you," I warned, even though I knew that wouldn't happen. "Go find some soap, get this thing washed up, and I'll explain a few things," he offered. I wasn't expecting that. I refused to leave him alone with the child, though. Thankfully, we found some dish soap in the bathroom. It would be good enough. I watched as the same creature who had a moment before eaten a man's brains from his skull gently washed off the poor boy's face and arms. Since we didn't have any clean clothing, he just washed any exposed skin. The kindness was enough to soothe the boy. The moment he was dried off, he fell asleep in the man's arms. I offered to hold the boy, but got a scowl in response. Instead, I was handed a phone with the instructions to call the only number in the contacts list. A woman answered, and as instructed, I requested that she show up at our address. "I take it you dealt with supernatural creatures before," he said after the phone call. I nodded, but didn't tell him anything else. "You pulled a bit of magic from my hand. Most humans can't do that. If you took better care of yourself, you might have given me some trouble. You should leave before my handler gets here." Again, I stayed silent on my history with creatures. I wanted to focus on who he was and what he was doing here. "I don't fully trust you won't eat the kid the moment I'm out of the room," I answered back, arms crossed. He looked me over, then started to undo the buttons of his collar. A black tattoo encircled his neck. I had seen that design before and knew what it was.
Yikes.
"I'm on a leash. I can't harm anyone that isn't related to my job. There's been a ring of these types lately. They're selling humans to supernatural creatures for all sorts of reasons. I'm tracking down the sellers, not the products," he explained. "You were gonna eat me," I pointed out. "Self-defense. You attacked me first," he said with a smug look on his face. I hated dealing with monsters for this reason. An old friend of mine said all supernatural creatures would make great lawyers. They all knew how to twist their words to give enough doubt to make their points seem valid. Nothing good ever came from talking with monsters, let alone trying to make a deal with them. Someone came inside the house. A woman stormed up the stairs looking for the troublesome creature she had the job of looking after. She was beautiful, but in a manufactured way. I bet it took her 2 hours each morning to get her makeup and hair just right. Through her rage, she didn't even notice the reason why we called her at first. "August, you better have a damn good reason for..." "Oh my God, what do you have?" She rushed over, hands out to take the boy from his arms. The monster refused for a moment, then carefully handed over the precious bundle. When his hands were free, his face dropped, and he made a distressed squeaking sound. "Who are you?" she asked, finally seeing the other person in the room. Innocent bystander?" I commented with a shrug. "Shit. Well, supernatural creatures are..." She started, and I waved her off. "I'm a retired contract worker. I know all about monsters and such. Is the kid gonna be okay?" She breathed a sigh of relief over not having to explain monsters to a normal person. "Yes, we'll get in contact with the family. If he comes from a bad environment, we'll find the right home for him. Here's my card if you want any kind of follow-up." "Did August attack you? You're bleeding." I rubbed my nose only then, realizing how bad I looked. I took the offered card, but knew I wanted to just put this all behind me. "I did no such thing. I'm on a leash," August, the monster, said with his arms crossed. "Oh, fuck off. We all know you're a little shit that causes problems," she growled back at him. "Self-defense," he added, with a smile that made me want to punch him. Don't worry about it. I'll leave you guys to your work. Just make sure the kid is taken care of." I went to leave, but the woman was nice enough to offer me a ride home. A few minutes later, I found myself in my small apartment, my body sore and my only good shirt ruined by blood. I collapsed into bed, never wanting to deal with supernatural creatures again. And I added door-to-door salesman to the list of jobs I refused to do. A few days later, I found myself staring at my phone. An email had come through, saying I was being paid for assisting in the job at that house. It was enough to cover my rent for 1 more month, but I was confused about why that monster would share the payment. Did his handler send me something because she felt bad I got dragged into the mess? Or was it August? I didn't know much about him, but he seemed like the type to not care about money. Giving it away was easier than thinking about how to spend it. I had other emails in my inbox. I quit hunting down monsters 2 years ago, but I still get the job requests from time to time. If I started back up again, I would only have to worry about my life, not my rent. I put my phone away, shaking my head. No matter what, I refused to go back to that life. Working in customer service was slightly less stressful. I found myself sitting on the floor of my apartment, wearing 3 layers of clothing while cutting out coupons for tonight's meal. Any money in the bank was put aside for my phone bill and rent. I didn't even have enough money for a loaf of bread. My work options had also dried up. Who would want to hire a guy with a resume like mine? For most of my adult life, I did a job where I couldn't be upfront with new employers. If I said I had been a monster hunter until 2 years ago, I would be kicked out of any interview. I found myself at a breaking point. I needed a job soon, or else I would be on the streets in a few weeks, or starve to death, whichever came first. A ping came from my phone. I'd been ignoring the emails for a while. Even though I stopped hunting monsters, the job offers were still emailed. I needed to face the hard facts. If I didn't accept a contract job, I wouldn't be around for much longer. Hunting monsters wasn't easy. Sure, some are pretty harmless to humans. Those kinds of assignments didn't pay much, but you had a better chance of walking away with your life. The problem is, it's hard to tell between the harmless creatures and the bloodthirsty ones. The dangerous creatures tended to randomly show up. I've heard of hunters in the middle of a job relocating pesky supernatural creatures, getting ambushed by something they didn't have the strength to deal with. Starve to death or get eaten by some sort of monster. What a choice my life had led me to. I finally caved and picked up my phone, scrolling through to see if any of the open requests were suited for me. I didn't have any weapons left over from my hunting days. I sold those first to stay afloat. If I didn't have such a massive debt, I might not have gone back to my old job. Almost all of the requests required
It's a
a
good
partner
question, though.
or equipment that I didn't have.
Kind of a weird story.
I spotted one that might be what I could handle.
I don't know if I want to listen to this one.
Getting medicated for
I spend most of my time traveling and meeting new people. Most forget about our trivial meetings, but some linger, sensing they can trust me with some story they would like to get off their chest. A story they cannot tell anyone else. A story that haunts them or one they wish to forget. I collect these stories as I travel for work. I'm unaware of what qualities I hold that make others feel enough at ease to spill their soul to a stranger. Perhaps they can sense that no matter how outlandish the tale, I'll believe them. The other day, I literally bumped into a woman coming out of a corner store. She dropped her drink, and when I collected it to return to her, she stared at me. I knew in that moment that she could sense I was a person she could unload an experience on. An experience that had been troubling her. Unfortunately, I could not stick around to hear it. I was in a hurry, and that was the reason why I ran directly into her in the first place. But I gave her my business card and told her to call me later that night or the next day. I do not make a habit of giving out my number to people who only want to give me tales and not work. But for her, I made a quick exception. She did call me later that night, and I had time to hear what had been troubling her for over a year. With her permission, she allowed me to write down her story. I, of course, changed names and made the locations as vague as possible for her sake. I tried to keep this in her words as much as possible. I only thought to write this down after I heard it, so I may have forgotten some of the words she spoke, but it should be very close to what she said.
That'll be good.
I think she was relieved that someone believed what she had said. And it does not matter to me if you believe this tale or not. This is simply just what I heard that night. A year ago, maybe more, I had been proposed to by my high school sweetheart. He had been the only person I had ever dated, and I wasn't aware of any warning signs that started to appear in our relationship. In my defense, they weren't very big warning signs either. Things I could easily ignore or sweep under the rug, believing that because we loved each other, everything was going to be fine. Bill would stay out some nights, and I just assumed he took some extra hours at his job and crashed at a friend's place. He spent a bit too much money on booze most weekends, or for takeout when we were just barely able to pay our rent. When he did propose, he bought the cheapest ring, which I was fine with. But his mother had asked what happened to the ring that belonged to his grandmother. He had been given it when she passed. His excuse was that he had it in a safe. It was a very expensive ring, and he didn't want to risk it getting lost. Again, in his defense, I had a bad habit of losing earrings or misplacing my keys ever so often. I agreed with him about the ring being kept in a safe spot. He could hand it down to our children when we had some. But he didn't sound very happy over the children idea. When the subject came up, he always found a way to make me drop it. Planning weddings are stressful. Anyone can tell you that. I had friends he hated, and he didn't want them to come. And I thought some of his friends were a bad influence. I didn't care about him drinking with them, but I heard rumors that groups of friends started to deal drugs during those parties. I didn't want Bill anywhere near something like that, let alone risk having the cops called at our wedding, because his friends decided to deal over the bathrooms or something along those lines. After we started to disagree on one thing for the wedding, we found ourselves disagreeing about nearly everything. I found it much easier to just go along with what he wanted instead of arguing. The last day I spent with Bill was when we had driven down to where we wanted our reception to be held. I found the location just fine. It was a beautiful apple orchard. A strange location for us, though. We were both city folk, but his uncle owned the orchard. We could have our reception there for cheap, and it was a great location. Aside from how far of a drive it was really perfect. I had thought we could go one day without having some sort of disagreement about the wedding, but I was mistaken. On the drive home, the topic of who to invite came up again. It was the biggest fight we'd ever had. I never raised my voice, but I was so adamant about his group of friends not coming, I found myself red in the face, yelling right back at him, pleading for him to understand. Everything we had ever argued about came out then. On a dark highway with no other cars, surrounded by trees, he silenced me by spitting out every hateful thing he had been holding back and let fester. I had never been so deeply cut by someone's words before. I never knew he had been angry over how he felt I was apparently pressing him for children, or how I had let myself go after high school, or how I burdened him, forcing him to work so often. Even though I worked 2 part-time jobs trying to support us, and after months of looking, I couldn't find any better places hiring. Every statement was a dagger stabbing into my heart. Everything that was wrong in our lives, he put the blame on me. I think it was because it was so much easier for him to blame me than to face his own mistakes and shortcomings. Because of his tirade, I'd started to cry. A wailing kind of cry that I couldn't hold back. The stress of the past few months finally came to the surface. Bill did something I never expected from him. With one hand on the wheel, he hit me with the other. So hard, I bounced my head against the window. The shock and pain made me stop crying. Once I fully realized what happened, I felt the urge to sob even harder bubble up, but forced it down out of the fear of him hitting me again. We shouldn't be together, I said softly, but I knew he heard it. He stayed silent with a calm rage on his face, an expression that to this day still gives me chills thinking about. I'm positive he was planning on killing me in that moment. I don't know what happened that made him hate me so much.
Narcissistic display.
I kept my eyes on him as my body shook. The dark road before us was empty of cars, but at the last moment I saw it. A deer. It had walked out into the road, our headlights illuminating its figure. Bill had time to drive into the other lane. If we were lucky, the deer would run to the left and we would avoid it. And it did run to the left. But Bill purposefully swerved to hit the poor creature. My head bounced off the dashboard, causing me to see stars and black out for a few moments. The deer crashed and went over our car, cracking our windshield and denting the front, but it didn't do much damage otherwise. I have no idea why our airbags didn't go off. Bill screeched to a stop at the side of the road, swearing up a storm. We both sat breathing heavily, trying to process what had just happened. Bill had tried to kill both of us. We knew, but neither would say it out loud. Once I was seeing straight again, I scrambled out of the car. I don't know if it was to get away from Bill or if it was to check on the deer. My forehead was bleeding from how hard I hit it, but I ignored it. The poor deer was in the middle of the road, broken and twisted, but it was twitching and still alive. I limped over to it. My seatbelt dug into my body when we hit the poor creature,
Oh, I'm covered
but my
in
pain
flour
was
now.
nothing compared to the deer. I knew I couldn't do anything for it, but I still felt the need to be beside it. I sat on my knees beside the deer, its big eyes looking up at me, its ears moving, but because its neck was broken, it couldn't move anything else.
It's fine.
I wanted to cry for it. I felt like it was my fault it had been hit. If I hadn't agreed to marry Bill, we wouldn't have been driving on this road at this time, and it would have been safe. I silently said an apology to it, petting its head softly not to harm or panic it further. Bill was coming toward us. He was openly threatening to kill me if I didn't get back into the car. He looked furious. I knew he would hurt me, but I stayed by the deer. I needed to be beside it while it died. It was my fault, after all. I felt the tears coming back to my eyes, causing my vision to blur as I watched Bill stride ever closer in the red light the car's rear lights gave off. I thought my only hope it might live through the night was the chance another car could come down the road, and saw our car pulled over and myself and a deer in the middle of the road. But I was wrong. A wind blew through the forest surrounding us, and at first I thought the movement in the trees across the road was just that.
Where's my honey?
Trees blowing through the wind. I heard a sound that was very much like branches hitting each other in a strong breeze, but it sounded
Bless you.
off somehow. That strange sound made me look up and over, then up some more. My mind didn't piece together what I was seeing at first. It looked like some tree branches were rising above the others, but the branches were too big to be a part of any tree I'd ever seen. It was only when I saw the rest of the figure's head I knew what I was looking at. Towering over the dark trees and silhouetted against the moon was a deer head. Large antlers were what I saw rising up at first. It was so dark I only saw the shape of it. Even Bill stopped when he followed my line of sight. That head was too large. Too impossibly large. It had to be a trick of the night or something else. No deer could be taller than the trees. Then the deer figure opened its eyes. Countless eyes made of silver lights of all different shapes and sizes, all looking down at us. Eyes made of moonlight covering its entire dark head. I should have been frightened. Such a thing couldn't be real, and yet we were both seeing it. And yet, strangely, I was in awe of the creature. The creature raised its head even more, the strange groaning noise coming with it. It then made a noise so loud it shook my entire body. I thought my eardrums would burst from the sound. My bones creaked under the weight of such a noise. I'm not a religious person, but I do think that this is what the trumpet that sounded the end of days would be like. Bill dropped to his knees, holding his ears, doing his best to drown out the horrible sound. Even after it ended, neither of us recovered for a few minutes. While we were reeling, eyes started to appear in the woods around us. Eyes closer to our level. Unable to move, I saw countless deer start slowly coming out of the woods and into the moonlight. But there was something wrong with these deer. All of them were dead. Their eyes a glowing, milky white.
Honey still.
Their bodies twisted and rotting.
I know it.
Some had to drag their broken limbs behind. One dragged itself forward with only one working front leg. I could smell them. The horrible stench of death. Bill saw them starting to surround us and stood on shaky legs. He took a few rough steps towards the car, leaving me behind. He got a few steps from the car before the first deer darted out towards him. It was a female, and it rammed him so hard that he flew a few feet closer back to me. In a blind panic, he got up, his eyes wide and white with fear. He tried running again, only to have a buck come charging at him, antlers only grazing him but ripping his shirt. Soon Bill was being shoved painfully from deer to deer,
Very
some using their hard hoofs to knock him aside into the next creature. He finally went down when a hoof caught his jaw, breaking it and knocking teeth from his mouth. He screamed in pain, blood pouring onto the road. The deer stared down at him in a tight circle with their white eyes motionless. The massive creature in the forest didn't move. It too watched the gruesome scene play out. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't move. I couldn't try and save him. At some point I had loved that man, but right then, I felt nothing for him as he begged for his life through blood and shattered teeth. He tried crawling away, but was quickly stopped by a deer slamming down on his legs, crushing bone. The deer we had hit died in front of me. I knew it was dead, and yet it still stood. Its neck twisted. It started to weakly walk towards Bill. I heard each step getting closer to him. Hoofs on the road were the only sound as the rest of the deer paused and watched their new member get closer and closer to the one who had killed it. When it had reached Bill, he had been able to crawl to nearly the end of the road, leaving a trail of blood behind him. With a great deal of pain, he rolled onto his back to stare up at the creature that stopped right behind him. They both stared at each other, Bill babbling nonsense and spitting blood. The deer did not listen. It did not care for his pleas.
This is what are you making
It
now?
reared up on
Red?
its hind legs and brought down its front hoofs down onto Bill's face. I wanted to look away. Like I said, I had loved this man once. Even after everything he had said and done, I felt like I should at least make myself watch his end. I watched as the deer, with its broken neck and head swinging wildly, brought down its front legs again and again. I heard the impact into Bill's skull and his head cracked open. I heard how he tried to scream, only to be cut short. When Bill's skull was nothing but a mashed pile of gore, the deer finally stopped. I was positive it was my turn next. But the creatures just left. They all dragged their dead bodies back into the woods where they came from. Before I could question anything, I heard that bone-crushing trumpet sound from the massive creature still watching. The sound and pressure were so intense I blacked out for a few seconds. When I came to, I found myself in the back of an ambulance.
I think that's fine.
I saw flashing lights and smelled burnt plastic and metal. A man I never met before was telling me everything would be all right, and I was safe to rest. I was so tired. When I woke up the second time, I was in a hospital bed. According to what the police had pieced together, Bill and I had gotten into a fight. He dropped me off on the side of the road before speeding off. A truck driver had seen me get kicked out of the car with a banged-up head. He was going to pull over to see if I was all right when a deer jumped in front of Bill's car. He was still in view, so the truck driver saw the car crash and catch on fire. However, they never found the deer's body. They'd all assumed I was in shock from seeing Bill's death, but they accepted my silent act. I simply nodded and agreed about what events I had been told happened.
Reuse that better.
I had no memories of what I had been told. But it must have been what happened, right? There's no way dead deer came out of the woods to kill Bill because he was an ass that killed one of them on purpose. But deep down, I can't shake the memory. It was so real. After they spoke to the truck driver, they never found him again. He had given them a fake name, so I was never able to thank him. The chilling part was they only found parts of Bill's body. They couldn't explain why only some of his body burned so thoroughly while others did not. But they still marked the case as closed. I was ready to accept the whole thing as a stress-induced nightmare. After I returned from the hospital, I had a dream. A dream I was in the forest surrounded by those dead deer. Their dead eyes staring me down. I cried for them. When I woke up, at the foot of my bed was something that had not been there before. A single antler. I don't know if it was a warning or a thank you. I kept it. I asked an artist friend to carve something out of the antler, to make use of it. I wear a small pendant made from it every day. I may have been saved that night, but I fear that what saved me is fickle. The next person may not be so lucky. Whoever meets those creatures may be taken. So, Take care to notice the deer crossing signs. Be careful on the roads at nighttime. And I hope that if you do hit a deer, it forgives you.
That sounds
That
like
was
a
mostly what the woman
skinwalker
told
to
me.
me.
I thanked her for her story. I doubt she'll ever call me again. Hopefully this helps her move on. I may drop by again with other stories. I've recently been hearing about this strange person people are calling a half-blood cryptic. I'm very busy with my odd job, but if time willing, I'll write down other strange events I've heard about. Roughly a year ago, I found myself finishing a job sooner than I expected. Due to that, I was stranded in an unfamiliar city without any place to rest in the middle of the night.
Try this.
We had got to the point.
No. I'll set this one.
People can relate to my situation. Rent is insane, and good-paying jobs are hard to find. I was just getting by when my landlord decided he wanted more money. It's not like I had the time or money to fight it. Instead, I started looking for a new place, so I wouldn't be homeless by the end of the month. For 2 weeks, I desperately looked for anything within my price range. A few options came up, but fell through at the last minute. The one place I considered was a house with 4 other guys. They cleaned up when I arrived to view the room available for rent. Whatever efforts they made were in vain. The place smelled like something died under the floor, or behind some of the damaged walls they poorly covered up. Soon it appeared that my options would be a rundown frat house or the streets. When an affordable apartment came on the market, I thought it was a miracle. Aside from the no pets in the lease, it appeared too good to be true. I swooped on the chance, applying a few minutes after I saw the listing. Within the next hour, I'd gotten a response, so I could be booked in for a viewing as soon as possible. I imagined there must have been a lot of people trying to get into the apartment listed. At the time, I felt thankful I got the viewing. When I arrived at the address, I second-guessed myself a few times. There was no way this place could be so cheap.
It's not done.
The entire apartment building was massive, yet clean.
Almost.
Parking out front and another lot under the building. A large stone wall surrounded the area. I stopped at the front gate expecting a person to be working. I got the code texted to me to get in beforehand. I've never lived in a place that needed a gate before. That should have been the first red flag.
Probably got a spot ready for
The second red flag should have been how empty the building felt. I parked out front in a barren lot. I needed to put in another code for the front doors to get inside the lobby. Again, no one was at the front desk. It made me pause and wonder what a front desk person would even need to do in an apartment building. It felt like more of a hotel to me. The inside of the lobby was spotless. I saw my reflection on the smooth marble flooring. A set of stiff white sofas were arranged waiting to be used. A mixture of perfectly fanned-out magazines sat on a black coffee table in the middle of the seating area. Nothing looked as if a single person had ever touched them. A slight chill ran down my back, but I blamed that on the air conditioning. I was told to go right up to the 10th floor and to the apartment I wanted to rent. Someone was going to meet me there. Even the elevator smelled too clean. I wondered if this place had been built recently, and maybe that explained why no one was around. Maybe they hadn't filled all the rooms yet. Inside the elevators were mirrors on the walls, creating an illusion of the room going on forever. When I pressed the button to go to the 10th floor, the doors sat open for a full minute. When they closed, the entire space jerked hard downwards. I was then shot up faster than any other elevator I've ever been in. A sinking feeling jumped to my stomach when it finally stopped. If I moved in, I would take the stairs if I could. I ran out the open doors, my heart fluttering from the sudden jolts in the ride upward. I took a moment to recover and to look around. The carpet was a simple light gray that matched the walls. A wooden table with a vase of fake silver flowers sat outside the elevators. The place looked more like a hotel than an apartment building. I wondered if this had been built as one, but switched to more long-term renting after the project had been completed. It also looked way over my budget. I hoped I didn't waste a shift off work for some sort of renting scam. I found the right door. I knocked, even though I'd been told to go right in. A voice called out, inviting me inside. I cautiously opened the door, expecting anything. The apartment was clean and cool. It had way more space than I needed. A middle-aged man stood in the middle of the living room. He'd been rearranging flyers for nearby restaurants. I opened my mouth to introduce myself. He cut me off by taking hold of my hand in a firm shake. Mr. Park, so nice to meet you. I hope the complex meets your standards. I'm the owner, Norman Freed.
My house smells good.
His voice was deep, with a bit of a British accent. He practically sang my last name, putting my nerves on edge. The bright smile and voice could have won anyone over, and that's why it bothered me. Why would he put so much effort into this meeting? It's not as if he wouldn't have 100 other people wanting to rent this apartment. I started, unsure of what to say. Any questions I had disappeared, and I mentally cursed myself. Let's give you a quick tour of the place. The furniture is included in the price if you're interested in it. I want to make the move-in process as easy as possible for my future tenants, he said as he guided us to the other rooms of the apartment. There were 2 bedrooms, one larger than the other with a bathroom attached. It had been stocked with essentials, which also threw me off. I've seen most apartments come with a dishwasher and fridge, but never one with a bed, fresh towels, and a full living room set. I couldn't hold back my look of suspicion. I know what you're thinking. This is far too good to be true, correct? I'll let you look over the lease for as long as you like. There are no hidden costs or fees. Just this apartment, with everything at the price listed in the ad. Norman assured me. How can you afford to rent apartments so cheap? I imagine you could get triple and still have a line of people, I said, unable to get past that point. The smile never left his face. He'd been expecting to explain himself. I come from a rich family. My parents passed away, leaving me with an amount of money I could never spend in my lifetime. Not even if I tried. I could have anything I've ever wanted aside from one simple thing. A legacy. I made this building as a start towards that. He started and made a grand gesture to the room around us. The rent residents pay goes directly into maintaining the building. I make no profit from the apartments. It makes it affordable so people can focus on improving other aspects of their lives.
That's nice.
Imagine what good you could do with your life if you didn't need to worry about rent payments. He talked in a fast-paced, excited tone, but I wasn't fully buying it. This sounded like the start of a cult. I began to suspect that this was a trap, instead of Norman just being a good guy in the middle of a midlife crisis. Could I look over the lease? I asked. Norman wasted no time handing over the paperwork. The apartment looked nice. Clean, modern, and with a good floor plan. I flipped through the pages, seeing nothing amiss. You don't need to sign the papers today. Take them home, sleep on it. I'll hold the apartment for a week for you to consider your options and get things together. I found myself staring at the other man. My gut said not to trust him, and yet I didn't have any better options. I thanked him for letting me come by, and he told me to call if I had any questions. I left the meeting feeling rattled. When I got back home, I looked up his name and did 3 days of research before confirming that Norman had been telling the truth. He just wanted to do some good in the world. No rent increases unless the building needs maintenance. But that cost would be spread out to all the renters, meaning we wouldn't even notice that big of an increase. I signed the papers and planned to move in by the end of the week. The agreement gave renters generous outs if they needed to break the lease. I literally had nothing to lose. At least, I didn't think I did. I've never owned that much stuff. Packing was a simple task. Very soon I found myself standing in a pristine new apartment. It didn't feel like home. I imagined it wouldn't for a long time. At least now I wouldn't have to work as much for rent. But I dreaded being alone for extra hours. I decided to keep my brutal work schedule for a little while longer.
Try it out, my love.
The first night in the apartment felt strange in a way I couldn't explain. It was as if I wasn't alone. I kept expecting someone else to turn the corner. I didn't know if it was the new place or if I was just missing Abby again. Expecting to see her hadn't fully gone away yet. I didn't sleep much the first night. At some point, just as I started to drift off, I felt someone sitting on the edge of the bed. I flew to turn on the light, only to see nothing. Rattled, I got a snack thinking it might help me calm down. I was a zombie at work the next day. Another thing that unnerved me was the building appeared far too empty. I knew it was just open for renters, but I rarely saw others around. The laundry room was empty anytime I used it, along with the outside parking. It was almost as if I was the only one living there. That fact was proved wrong within the first 2 weeks of me living there. I finally met my next door neighbor. I'd gotten off a late night shift from work, ready to go straight to bed. I saw her struggling to get her key in her lock while juggling bags of groceries in her arms. I offered some help, which she accepted. Very thankful I arrived when I did. I wondered why she didn't just set the bags down, but didn't say the idea out loud. Could you put these on the counter for me? I really need to use the washroom, she admitted and rushed off before I answered. I walked inside, feeling strange about the entire interaction. I didn't know there were grocery stores even open that late. She must have had a job that kept her late like mine did.
Sure, baby.
I awkwardly waited for her to come back, feeling like I should at least explain that I was her neighbor before leaving. You're a lifesaver. I wish I knew why I need to pee the moment I reach my front door, she said, long blonde hair swaying as she hurried over. I helped her put items in her fridge, not very skilled at social situations. I'm Justin. I live next door. I told her my English name. It wasn't a legal name, but I found it easier for most people to remember. I'm Amanda. I just moved in. Is it just you next door? She asked. I doubted she was trying to pry, just making some conversation. Are you living alone? You bought a lot of food for one person, I commented as I looked around her place.
We are listening
Aside from some clothing on her couch, her apartment looked the same.
Jordan Group Horror. He says something is very wrong with my new apartment building.
Mine. There wasn't any sign of a second person, even though she had bags of bulk pasta and rice. Oh, it's cheaper per pound to buy more. I freeze a lot of meals. I can drop off some dinners for you from time to time if you like.
I was just thinking, I think I made too much soup. I'm gonna have to freeze a lot of that.
Her offer threw me off a little. Her bright blue eyes looked up at mine, expecting a positive answer. She looked around my age. I wondered if she was just a nice person or desperate for a boyfriend. That would be nice on the weekends when I have more time off, I told her, not to dismiss her kindness. Awesome. We'll plan it out. I've gotten really into cooking lately. I'm also getting a rice cooker at the end of the week, which will help. Her smile felt a little weird. She must just be as awkward around people as I was. She thanked me again and let me go back to my apartment, but not before forcing her phone number on me. At least making friends with my next door neighbor was easy enough. Before the weekend rolled around, I noticed something with my bank account. It had way too much money in it. My first and last month's rent should have been paid by now. I double-checked to see if I forgot to send it, but saw the amount had bounced back. I called Norman's number to tell him. It took a few calls to finally get through. When I did, he admitted he switched banks and forgot to update his details. The new bank was giving him a hard time, and he said he would waive my payment because of the stress he'd caused. I insisted I needed to pay. No matter what I said, he dodged the offer in the kindest way possible. This should have been a lucky break for anyone, and yet I got even more unnerved. Every time something went my way, I expected something terrible to happen. I may have just been acting paranoid. As promised, Amanda came over with dinner on Sunday. It was a simple fried rice dish. I enjoyed it. She picked at her food, more interested in talking. She wanted to get to know as much as possible about me for some reason. The conversation barely went in her direction. When it did, she didn't say much about herself. By the end of the short dinner, I felt like I knew less about her than before. No other red flags showed. She was nice, smiled a lot, and offered to come over again when I was free. I wasn't ready to have weekly hangouts with someone yet. I said I would think about it, but that wasn't a good enough answer. She got me to agree on a time for next weekend like a pro. I started to think that there might be something wrong with me. This poor girl was just trying to be nice, and I was acting as if she had an ulterior motive.
She does.
Something about this new apartment creeped me out for no damn reason. At least, to start with, there was no damn reason. The first real creepy experience happened in the underground parking lot. A storm with the risk of hail was rolling through, so I used the underground spaces for the first time. I pulled in just in time. A downpour of rain started, and soon chunks of hail followed. Most of the spaces were filled on the first level, which I thought was weird because I never saw anyone inside the building besides Amanda. I found a space a few spots from the elevator. Then a rumble of thunder shook the building. Soon the lights flickered out. I'd been out of my car and walking towards the exit when I found myself in pitch darkness. I pulled my phone out to use the flashlight on it to guide the way. For some odd reason, my phone refused to turn on. My breathing started to get heavy as I waited for the lights to go back on. Your mind starts playing tricks on you in the dark very quickly. I should have stood still, but I wanted to get out of there as fast as possible. I thought I knew what direction the first level was. I stumbled around in the dark, the still air feeling almost suffocating. Since I wasn't bumping into cars, I figured I was going in the right direction. Only a few minutes passed in the dark, but it felt like hours. The lights flickered back on to show just how far I had walked in the wrong direction. Instead of going towards the elevator, I stumbled near the ramp that led to the third level. The lights for the next level didn't turn back on. I found myself staring off into the darkness, wondering just how I got so lost. I was about to turn around when a noise caught my attention. The sound of wings flapping echoed around me.
That's creepy.
Sometimes birds get trapped in a place like this, looking for a dry place to rest. My phone started to work again. I used it to try to see what kind of bird was there with me. I was worried it might not get out and thought I should tell someone to come down to rescue it. My phone flashlight scanned the third level to see nothing moving in the dark. But I did see a bunch of parked cars, each one of them gathering dust. Why would so many people park on the third level when the second one is empty? And why did these cars appear to have been left here for some time? Without thinking, I walked down the ramp to look around some more. Some cars were missing the license plates, and others had slightly deflated tires. I paused at one with a thick layer of dust on the hood, and a bunny plushie sitting forgotten on the dashboard. The bird that caught my attention landed at the top of the ramp. It stared me down with deep black eyes. It looked like some sort of crow, but far larger than any one I'd seen before. I suddenly wanted to get the hell out of there. It flapped a pair of wings to take off back into the darkness. A chill started up my spine that followed me to the elevator. There were a lot of cars just sitting around for whatever reason. No matter how much I thought it over, I couldn't figure out why. Amanda was waiting by my door when I got off the elevator. I wasn't in the mood to talk with her. "Oh, what's the matter? The storm freaked you out?" she asked when she saw my expression. "Yeah, I was in the underground parking lot when the lights went out." "Have you been down there? Seen all the dusty cars?" I said, because it would bother me unless I asked about it. She just shrugged, not at all concerned. "A lot of stores are within walking distance here, and most people order things now or work from home. I bet they just let them sit down there to save on gas," she offered. "I guess that makes sense," I replied, but did not fully accept the answer. "It's kind of weird the power went out down there. I didn't see the lights flicker or anything. I was coming over to see if you wanted to have a scary movie night because of the storm. You know, Netflix and chill and all that." I nearly stumbled back at the last part. We barely knew each other, and she was already dropping that sort of suggestion. I'd been out of the dating game for a few years, but were girls always that forward? "You know what Netflix and chill means, right?" I stammered, face flushed. "I'm well aware it can mean a certain thing, if you wanted to. So, do you want to chill at my place for a little while?" Her voice dropped to a suggestive tone that made me take a step back. I just then noticed her gray sweatpants and baggy shirt hanging off one shoulder. She was cute. Way cute. But my stomach twisted over the thought of accepting her offer. It was just a very bad time for me. I turned my head, unsure of how to refuse. I need to be up early for work tomorrow," I said, and it made her laugh. "Bold of you to assume you would keep us up all night." Her response nearly made my heart stop from embarrassment. I stammered out nonsense as she waved away any excuses I might try to make. "It's fine, I just wanted to offer. Am I just not your type?" "Something like that," I said, glad she gave me a way out of the conversation. "Are we still good, though? As neighbors, I mean?" I would need a few days to recover from this, but we could still be friends. I bet a lot of people would be angry at me for turning down a girl as willing as her. I just couldn't go through with dating someone right then. Thunder rumbled outside so loud it shook the building. Amanda wanted to watch some horror movies before the storm passed. She gave me a goodbye and went back into her apartment. I hope she never brought up this conversation again. Oddly enough, I slept better than I had with the storm going on outside. It filled my apartment with white noise. I never realized just how silent my bedroom was until I woke up the next morning. The lack of noise pressed down on me. I turned on the shower as I did my morning chores just to chase away that unnatural silence. Nearly a full month went by before something happened I couldn't ignore. I could have chalked up everything to new apartment jitters. I'd almost settled down and gotten into a routine. Then the package showed up at my door. We had mailboxes in the lobby. Maybe my neighbor got this in her mail by mistake and brought it up to me. I hadn't ordered anything, and yet the label had my name and address. I flipped it around without a clue what could be inside. I just got off work, so I changed into clean clothing before tearing open the mystery package. The 2 plastic items spilled onto the kitchen counter. The sight of them made my stomach drop to the floor. For half a second, I thought I might be sick. Then my blood started to boil. Someone had sent me a pair of reflective clip-on bicycle lights. But who the hell would be so cruel? Abby's family didn't know my full address, and even if they held some sort of unknown grudge, would the driver have somehow found my address and put it here? For what? Was this a threat? Or just because he liked causing pain for others? I tossed the clips and the wrapping they came in into the trash. I then stormed over to the elevator, carrying the tied-up bag to go downstairs to dispose of it. I couldn't stand having those clips in my apartment. My finger slammed on the basement button. It had been a while since I'd felt that kind of rage bubble up. The elevator started to drop. I watched the lights of each floor pass. When it hit the lobby, I got closer to the door, expecting it to open at the next stop. The elevator hit the basement, but to my confusion, it kept going. There wasn't anything below the basement. The underground parking may go deeper, but those elevators open to the lobby. Nothing showed on the panel as to what floor I was going to. It just kept going. Suddenly, it dropped so fast that my feet lifted off the ground. I collapsed, feeling as if I just kept falling for ages. Finally, the elevator hit a sudden stop. The door sat closed long enough for me to regain my balance. On shaking legs, I stood up, wondering what the hell was going on, sick with fear. The door started to open, and I pressed my back against the large mirror. Nothing but darkness was beyond the doors. My heart raced as I debated on going near the doors to try to hit a button to go back upwards. Any thoughts disappeared from my mind when a hand reached out from the darkness into the light of the small space. Then another one. Each arm was impossibly long. The skin dyed a deep, dark red. I pressed hard against the mirror, unable to go anywhere else. A scream died in my throat as the hand shot out to grab my wrist so hard I thought it snapped. My body was dragged into the darkness as if I weighed nothing. I saw nothing but heard screaming. It took me a long while to realize the voice I heard was my own. I found myself standing on the cold lobby floor. A concerned face was above my own. I half crawled away, still convinced I was wherever the elevator took me. Mr. Park, are you all right? Do you have any medical issues I should be aware of? The fear hadn't fully worn off when Norman spoke. My landlord appeared very worried for my well-being. It took me forever to collect myself. What? I croaked out, voice raw from screaming. I just walked in and saw you had collapsed here? I shook my head, still in shock. What happened couldn't have been a dream, could it? I looked down at my wrist, seeing a bruise start to form. I might not have taken the elevator halfway to hell, but something happened. Maybe you're overworking yourself. You have been doing a lot of double shifts. Why don't I take you back up to your apartment so you can rest for a while? My overly kind landlord offered. I was just about to refuse him when Amanda stepped off the elevator. She paused, seeing me on the ground. I asked her if she could help me get back upstairs in case I collapsed again. She did so without question. Norman asked me to contact him if I ever needed anything. I agreed, just so he would let me leave.
Then I'm good.
I didn't tell my neighbor what happened, just that I wasn't feeling very well. I couldn't shake the
for the
feeling
bread.
of being watched.
That's rising. We have
I barely heard what she said when I walked back inside my apartment. The feeling of having someone right behind me didn't go away. My hands started to shake, and whatever rational part of my brain that was left screamed at me to leave. I decided to listen to it. I started to pack an overnight bag to get away from this place. I also wanted to call my parents. I hadn't heard from them for nearly a year because we lived in different countries. I didn't know what time it was for them, and I didn't care. My finger hovered over the screen to call them. Suddenly, I felt bile rise to my throat.
Yuck.
I dropped my phone to double over. Black liquid came spilling out, leaving a burning, bitter taste behind. Tears came to my eyes, making it impossible to see until they cleared. I moved towards the door the moment I finished getting sick. My trembling hands landed on the handle, but my body didn't move. My arms refused to do what I told them to. I wanted nothing more than to leave, to get the hell out of that place. What was happening wasn't normal. And yet, my body refused to listen to me. I hope you stay here forever. I turned when I heard Amanda's voice, to see my apartment empty. You'll never need to leave. Norman's voice came from the empty living room. I shook my head, feeling dizzy. When I closed my eyes to clear my thoughts, I opened them to find myself in bed. My ringtone went off, waking me up.
Hi, baby.
I didn't remember going to bed last night. The black bile had been cleaned up, and I wore a different set of clothing from yesterday. I answered my phone with a shaking voice to hear my boss on the other end, asking if I was going to be in. I made some sort of excuse for not feeling well, but I was on the way. Half a shift was better than no shift. I expected my body to refuse to leave my apartment. I've never been so happy in my life to leave for work. I almost felt normal while out of the apartment building. The feeling of being watched was still at my back, but I could ignore it. Near the end of my shift, I started to think I was fine. Yesterday had been just some sort of brief medical episode, like lack of iron or something like that. A coworker asked me if I was doing all right. I opened my mouth to tell them the truth. I hated my new apartment, and for some reason it freaked me out. I'm fine. Just been working too hard. I overslept, I told them. I stood in silent horror. My expression did not match how I felt. That was not what I wanted to say. My words got twisted by the time they reached my mouth. I tried again to tell them how much I hated my new apartment. I ended up asking about how the morning went without me. This wasn't right.
Oh, dear. I think I'm going to call it right there. Finish cleaning up my kitchen and then get some rest. In the meantime, please remember to pray. Do no harm, take no crap, and I'll catch you on the next one. Blessings and namaste.